good. Which camera? Nope, not this. Trying to find the stream. This is part 3 of our 72-hour, excuse me, of our 72-hour live stream. Okay, audio sounds pretty okay. I'm okay with this. Let me see if I can hear me through my headphones. Any audio here? Nope, not a bit coming through the headphones. Not a bit. That's fine. Let's see. I need to make sure I've got. Hang on a second. I gotta do something about. Got a bit of a problem. There. There we go. That solved it. That solved the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages. Let me see if I can fix the audio out now. Speakers. The output speakers. That's where I want the audio output to go. Speakers. Testing. All right. I don't know if I'm going to get speakers from everybody. Right, I don't think I should get the speakers from me. Okay. So I'm not going to be able to hear myself. That's fine. Oh, chat's already live. Cool. Sunflower. Oh, I need to put the link in the chat, don't I? But yes. Copy link. I'll be doing Jackbox when Ike shows up. So there you go. Look at the phone. Because he's the one that has the Jackbox. I do not own Jackbox. Um, message. All right, so everybody's welcome to join. Come join. Get involved. Do the thing. But I'm probably gonna have to put on a sweater. All right, so today what we did. We did today Work? Okay. Oh! Where am I hearing audio from? Where am I hearing audio from? I'm hearing from my phone. Where am I hearing audio from? Okay, so who's giving me audio? What's giving me audio? Live stream quality, video, audio from. It's coming from there. It's supposed to be coming out of the speakers. Let's say it comes out of the headphones. Can I now hear what's coming out of? No, of course not. Why would that work? Why would that work? That wouldn't work. Why would that work? Of course not. Okay. What if I take off the headphones? Will it come out of the speakers of my computer? Default speakers. Hello, speakers. Default speakers. Wake up, speakers. Hello, speakers. I hear it from my phone, but I don't think we're awake enough on the speakers. See? Okay, let's try again. What we got? No volume? I'm muted? I can hear. Okay. Time. I think I'm going to end this. I don't think we're going to be able to do this tonight. I think I'm going to have to go home. I have to do this from home. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to do this from home. If I'm going to do it at all. So we're going to do the 72-hour live stream, but it's going to be 72 hours of watch time. You see, the problem is me hearing y'all. That's the problem. At this point, the problem's me hearing y'all. I don't need to hear me speak. Y'all need to hear me speak. Y'all can hear me speak. That's no problem. Let me try plugging my box in one more time. Let me try activating this. Because I've got my sound box here. I'm going to change the audio over to my microphone right here. You can already hear the problems as my computer. And I want to hear the speakers because I want it to come out here and talk to me. And I want to hear the speakers. Okay, that's definitely better audio. Talk to me. Okay, that's definitely better audio. Okay, but it's not the right microphone. So let's switch over. One more try. again. Screw Tape Games. Cheers, Screw Tape. Welcome to the party. All right. All right, so we've got this microphone, but I still don't have any audio. I can't hear anything. All right, so we've got this microphone. And that's a problem for obvious reasons. Because if I can't hear y'all talk, well, no, not headphones. Come on. Speakers. Come on. That's internal microphone. That's not what I want. No, speakers. Yeah, right there. Speakers. Come on. Hello, speakers. That's internal microphone. That's not what. Make audio happen. Yeah, right there. Come on. It's not working. It's not giving me any audio here. Come on. It's not working. It's not giving me any audio here. Hello. All right, maybe if I unplug this. Turn that off. How about now? You know what? I wonder. Sunflower, come join me. You know what? I wonder. Come join me. Sunflowers, come join me. I think I solved the problem. I think we're good to go. Real quick. I mean, you don't have to stay if you don't want to. But I gotta know for sure if I've got audio coming from the computer or Screw Tape, whichever one. But I think the audio the echo should be gone because I muted my phone. But I think what's going to happen is I'll hear what's coming from the computer. Oh, there's Sun. So if I turn you on, Sun. Hello. There we go. Okay, problem solved. Fixed it. We're good.
I don't hear an echo, but on YouTube I hear an echo from you.
You hear an echo on YouTube?
Yeah, whatever you were just saying before I came up, it would all echo.
Okay. Well, no problem. I just plugged in my microphone again.
But I don't hear an echo now. Well,
By turning off. Yeah, there's no, because I muted my phone.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. It was something.
I got it all fixed. I'm thinking that my own audio coming back at me, but that works. It's not how this works.
All right.
I was being dumb.
Okay.
Now I'm not dumb anymore.
All right. Did you get my message about Ike?
All right.
And did you get Ike's
Your message about? Yeah, I saw that.
Ike.
There in 20 minutes or so. I got all the technical issues worked out. That's great.
All right. Then he sent you a message.
You got all the issues out. Yeah, I saw it.
He didn't realize it was a bacon situation. Yeah, he didn't realize it was a bacon situation. Meaning, when we played on Bacon Stream, it was because of Ike. Same thing. Bacon doesn't own the game.
Right.
Somebody said those.
He said he was good.
Yeah, somebody said they're about $20. So if you're interested in buying them, it's about $20.
Okay.
You know,
I'm not worried about it. I mean,
if you really like it, if you really like it, I'm just giving you an idea. You can say no. It's your channel. Maybe because you were talking about not doing trivia, maybe you could do something like that instead.
Maybe so. I mean, this would be an idea.
Because it's kind of
'cause
trivia.
Trivia was going to cost some money. I wanted to keep doing it. This would be a good alternative.
Right. Because you seem to have fun doing it. Jackbox.
Yeah. It has a shelf life. Definitely has a shelf life where there's a certain amount of fun to be had, and then after that, it's no longer. It's like playing Monopoly. It's fun for the first couple of hours, and then after that, it's tedious.
When you do it on a stream, if you're drunk, then it doesn't matter. We just goof off because we used to do it for a long time on Twisted Art Lady channel. But yes, you do have a point. Do it for a few hours and then, but people seem to enjoy it when Twisted Art Lady would do it. So she would do a bunch of streams, just Jackbox, but we were bad. We were really bad. Are you there? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No? Maybe? Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me now? No? Maybe? Yes?
I can hardly hear you. You're low. Your volume changed.
How about now? Better?
Yeah, but your volume is too low.
Too low?
Yeah, I can hear you, but did you make your volume low?
No, I switched from internal microphone to external microphone.
Because it makes your volume sound very low.
Okay.
But I can hear you now. No, you're good. It just in the beginning you were very low.
Better? Good?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Is anybody watching?
Is it an improvement or?
No, your stream here.
Okay, I think.
Or is it just us?
No. I don't think it's an improvement. I haven't decided if this is an improvement or not. Hold on.
No, I think it is.
Okay. We just got to find a good place for
the setup of how Restream works is a lot better for you because you have less connection issues. It's just your mic sound. That's all. You have to decide how you like it.
Well, I just need to get the microphone in the right spot.
Yeah, now you sound a hell of a lot better.
Much better now? Okay. So the microphone's over
you sound normal. You sound normal sound and everything sounds good.
If I sound normal, then it doesn't sound good.
I mean, let me rephrase. You sound freaking fantastic. But you froze. Well, hello, everybody. While we wait for Humble to come back, I'm Sunflower. Sunflowers. No, all I see is black. It got dark in here.
It's okay. I moved cables around and messed with stuff.
Yeah, there's no, your camera is not on.
Yeah, I've got it. I'm working on it.
Okay. Well, old Humble, gets his connection issues. He's trying to go, or he was, for 72 hours live. Yep. So we'll see how long he goes for. Other people may show up or not.
Well, it's 72 hours total is the goal.
Yeah, 72 hours total. But other people may show up on his stream. As guests, he has things planned that I'm not aware of.
Yes, several things. I have a bunch of stuff planned, especially tomorrow night. I'm gonna unplug this, plug it back in.
Right. And maybe tomorrow he won't be invisible.
There we go. Are we better? I'm screwing with my connection at this.
Well, your voice is fine. There is just no picture of you.
That is correct. And everything is screwy right now because I'm screwing around with everything. There, I've officially disabled the camera. I'm trying to fix all of everything because I bumped everything. And
apparently, according to according to YouTube,
internet.
Let's see here. There's 6 people watching.
Yes. And I just accidentally unplugged my internet connection.
Way to go, old humble guy.
Thanks. I'm great at this.
You could have just stayed like that with your avatar. Anyways, as I was saying, old humble guy wants to go for 72 hours in this live stream. And apparently he's going to have guests. Maybe later today we'll do Jackbox. Maybe, if Ike comes. Anyways, I'm his friend Sunflowers. How y'all doing? What shall we talk about? Earlier today, we discovered that the Mars Candy Corporation is getting rid of M&Ms. The characters, those iconic characters. I don't know why. That kind of pisses me off. I mean, I'm not somebody who doesn't think we shouldn't change, but sometimes pop culturally, I like the iconic stuff, and I think those characters are really cool. Their commercials. I especially like the one where they discovered Santa. I think one of them was the yellow M&M, and I'm not sure if the other one was red. And welcome, Vanessa Kitty. Old Humble was having connection issues, so I'm filling in until he gets back. And I was saying, we were talking earlier, Vanessa, that they're going to scrap all the M&M characters. Apparently, they were going to have a purple one, but people were complaining, I guess, on Twitter that people were saying, oh, this is too broke and blah, 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 and why are you changing? I have no idea why people were upset. And now they're just going to have Maya Rudolph.
I'm back.
And welcome back, old humble guy.
Woo woo, I'm back, baby.
I can hear you.
Good. You can
just
see me.
Maybe volume up a scotch.
Okay. Let's see if I get what I can do about that.
Because you kind of sound muffled, but you're not muffled. It's just the way your mic is.
Okay.
And welcome, Nightbot. Thank you for coming.
See if I can do something about that without crashing my computer again. External microphone.
Yes. Vanessa Kitty says the same thing. Low volume, humble.
Working on it.
That's better.
How about that?
Oh, yes.
That better?
Vanessa, do you think he's too loud, or are we good? He sounds good to me.
We good? We good?
Yeah, I think it was maybe where you just had the mic placed.
I am the very model of a modern major general. I have knowledge of many facts of both animal and mineral. I don't know the words of the song. So
Vanessa Kitty said better. So you're good.
Okay. We're all good. I'm good. We're good. I'm good. Everybody's good. Hey, all right. What time is it? 9:47. I'm going to walk right over there. To put on my sweater because it's cold in here now. It is.
Alrighty.
Plunging. It must be down. It must have dropped 10 degrees in the last.
Oh, Vanessa's funny. I didn't want to say it, Vanessa. So let him read the comment. I didn't want to point that out. Read Vanessa's latest comment.
Great old radio speak loud and clear. Loud and clear, yes. 22:48 hours, 5G. What is that? Okay.
Greenwich Mean Time.
GMT, yeah. Okay. So, as Sunflower was explaining earlier, we're in the middle of. We're actually towards the end of the first day of the first part of the 72-hour live stream that I'm trying to do here at the Old Apple Distilling Company. So I am streaming live from the distillery as we put together. Oh, can I do it? How do I add a? Oh shoot! I'm gonna add the camera. I got to do that. Add the camera source as I put together my bourbon that we're releasing this week. Cam, there it is, and that is right here over my left shoulder. All my bourbon. Turn this one off.
That's actually cool that you could have the dual screen. Uh-oh. Is that better? Because I didn't have mine all the way up, Vanessa. But did we lose Old Humble's voice again? No audio, Humble.
I wonder if the audio only works when this camera angle's on.
There you go.
Must only work when that camera angle's on.
That's what I was thinking. You have to have the original audio probably going through the one camera.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Because I was wondering if you could tell it which audio, like, can you change the camera to what audio, like for your second screen? Can you do both? Or they would tell you no.
It should. I should have audio. Let me look and see if I add this.
But maybe not simultaneously because it might just do an echo then.
Interesting. Okay, well.
You just have to play around, I guess.
Yeah, it's just going to be a camera angle to have. I don't think I was having that problem. I don't think I had that problem at the house. Huh. Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, just fiddle around with Restream and you'll be fine. I think you got the hang of it.
Okay, so Slade Ham will be joining us tomorrow night at 7:00.
Who's that?
He's a local comic, funny as hell. He'll be restreaming in with me tomorrow. Fun guy, world traveler, man of inner mystery.
Ooh, we can find out what makes a good joke.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be like one of the first questions I ask him. He's going to give me at least an hour, and I will take every bit of it.
So what kind of comic is he? Like what's his thing?
He is a funny one. He's an East Texas comic from Beaumont. He is very much. Yeah, it's hard to put a finger on it, but he's pretty much a no shits to give type of comic. He's not a
Like Dave
he's
Chappelle?
not, he's very much like a Dave Chappelle type.
Okay, that's good enough. I get
more
it.
like a lot like Christopher Titus.
I don't know who that is.
Chris Titus, Joe Rogan.
Ooh, Joe Rogan.
He comes from he has a similar style to Joe Rogan, but not not similar jokes.
Okay.
He's a funny damn comic.
I might be around tomorrow. I'll try to make it.
Oh, you'll be around.
Well, no, I have a lot of stuff to do. I have to apply for jobs and I have stuff I need to get done.
All right, let me see if I can add another camera. Oh, what's this? Do I have a third person?
I don't know.
Hey, John. I'm over here trying to do something. Am I muted? Am I good? Okay. There we go. Everything better now.
So, Vanessa Kitty, what's up with you? Anything new in your neck of the woods? And I'm sure old humble guy will be back soon. He's frozen again.
I got audio.
Oh, you're back. You're not frozen.
All right. You're back. I can hear you. That's important. Okay, we're good. Well,
Maybe you were just
you could see what I could see.
Being still.
If you could see what I could see of your avatar on the screen, oh my god.
Yeah, I can see you.
So here's the deal. I got 15 hours in the first half of the first stream, the morning stream, and 35 hours in the afternoon stream, for a total of 49 hours of watch time.
That's impressive.
So that's a good that's a good day. And then should be tomorrow. I get the full 72. 72 watch hours. And then I can come in Thursday. Well, Thursday is just gonna be a couple of projects. I'm not really gonna have anything to do Thursday because tomorrow I should be done. Bottling all this up tomorrow, or with labeling all this tomorrow. So I may not have to come back Thursday. I mean, Thursday may be an optional day. Entirely. Do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday might be a fully optional day. How wild is that? 72-hour live stream getting knocked out in 24 hours. 72 hours in 48. But I'll probably do Thursday. I'll do Thursday. We'll come back and do Thursday. Yeah, we'll definitely do Thursday. All right. I'll remove this source from the stream. Maybe that'll help everything with the processing. Go away. Bye. Bye, camera. All right. We good? Are we working? Is everything functioning? Everything's terrible. Everything's terrible. We're all doomed.
We can be.
No, we shouldn't be. All right. Don't forget to subscribe. Goodness. I'm tired. My legs are stiff. Once it starts getting cold, my legs start stiffening up. I've been on my feet
Yeah,
all
I
day.
hate when that happens.
You know, I mean, the floor is concrete here, so I've been walking on concrete all damn day long, and it's almost to the point now where I just need to shut this shit down. Oh, no, too late. Ike's here. I think that's Ike. Let's look and see what we got. Boop.
Hello. Sorry, my
Hey!
camera's dark.
Oh no, Ike's here.
It just
I
got
didn't
dark.
realize I was supposed to be running Jackbox for you.
Oh, that's no problem. It's
So
not a
I'm
problem at
actually
all.
just finishing up my blacksmithing. I'm actually going to tear down all of this right now. It'll take me like 10, 15 minutes. I'll be over back in my caboose, and we can run some Jackbox.
Hey, Ike, do you want to do this Thursday night instead?
We can do it Thursday night.
You free Thursday night? You want to do it Thursday night?
I should be free. I should be free Thursday night. Yes.
How about let's do it? Because I'm actually, I thought that I would have more energy right now, but I have not had dinner. And I can just get started in the morning. I can do this thing tomorrow. But Thursday night, let's do Jackbox Thursday night.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's do Jackbox Thursday night, guys. How's that
What
sound?
time?
If you're still live streaming, like you want talking once I get done, I'll probably hop on for a little bit.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm probably going to turn in so that I can get up here tomorrow morning between 8 and 9 or 7 and 8 and get started labeling, because I expect I'm going to be doing a lot of labeling tomorrow, and then I'll shut down early in the afternoon, and then I'll come back and do my interview shows in the second half of the evening, sometime around 4 o'clock. What time do you want to do Jackbox Thursday? 8 o'clock? 9 o'clock?
8 o'clock your time would be about 6 o'clock my time. Yeah,
Oh
that
shit,
could work.
that's right. You're in the West. I was thinking
Yeah.
you were in the East. I'm willing to go later, 9 o'clock. That'd be 7 o'clock your time.
Yeah,
10
that'll
o'clock
work. We can do that. Let's go. 7 Pacific. Be 9 o'clock your time.
my time. Yeah, 7 your time is 9 my time. And
Sounds good. I'm okay with that.
You okay? You want to do it 7 or 8 your time?
We'll do 7. 7 works.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, cool.
7 o'clock Thursday night. Sounds like a plan.
All
And
right,
what
have a good
time is
night.
that, Art?
Good luck on the bottling tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right. As soon
Sunflower.
as you go live, I'm going to put my computer on so you can get some watch hours.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Son,
All right, guys,
you're
have
in
a good night.
Illinois,
I'm out.
so thank you, man. Talk to you later. Son, you're in Illinois, so 7 Pacific is 9 Central.
All right, yeah, we're the same time zone, you and I.
Correct.
No, I discovered something. Okay, remind me. When I start up Restream, I'm not allowed, for some reason, I can't show my camera. Now, I did it because I didn't want to be on my face on, but it won't let me change to it. It says camera permission denied. So I have to play around.
Okay. That is a setting on your browser.
Right. It has to do with when I start before I get into the stream. Because
Yeah.
I had that the first time. I couldn't do both. And I don't
Right.
know how I got out of the audio.
Has it asked you again since?
No, because I haven't had to pop back into your stream.
Okay.
So I'll try to remember for next time, just in case.
Okay.
But
Yeah, 'cause otherwise you're gonna have to go into settings on the control panel to change the privacy for the camera
right,
to
and I'm on
allow,
a
in my
phone,
case.
so it's hard for me to remember how to do it because I don't do it often. Because my
Okay.
computer it has to get repaired. It is not charging again.
All right. Well, cool. Hopefully, hopefully you can get that fixed up and it won't be a problem.
Right, but for now, Restream is a hell of a lot better than, as I told you, it's a hell of a lot better for my phone than StreamYard, at least in my opinion.
It seems like a much more convenient interface. Even on my end, it looks like it's a better, much more convenient, better interface. So
I think because everything's a learning curve and you're learning, but I seem to think for connection issues, you seem to have less problems with Restream.
Seems to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the picture looks clearer. I mean, it looks, for some reason, I find your Restream is so much better, the picture quality. At least that's what I think.
Look at these babies. They're so pretty. I'm so excited.
So,
Yeah, StreamYard was fine. StreamYard was fine, but I like the interface. I like the chat over here on the side.
yeah, I'm getting used to it now.
I just like the way this looks and feels.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan. So, I'm much more comfortable, and it's cheaper. If I decide to get the subscription, it's cheaper. But even the free one has no limits on streaming, so I'm pretty
Oh,
happy.
my mic is very loud. Well, it's not even all the way up.
No.
It's like-
You've already fixed that. The new
Yeah,
ones
that's
are,
why I'm asking. Is it okay
the new
now?
ones are on top. The new ones are on top. Because we already addressed that one. It's on bottom. The new
Yeah,
comment,
I'm just asking them. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
All right.
because you already turned your audio down.
I know. I'm just
And
making
then I
sure.
lost audio, and now my audio is back.
I'm good.
We're all good. Everything.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting used to these comments, but I didn't see the other comment before.
We're all good. Everything is awesome. Everything is
Yeah.
cool. And we're part of a team.
Unless they ditch you and bye Eminem characters.
Oh my God.
That is so stupid. So apparently the
it's a
Mars
stupid
Corporation decided to go with the people who are screaming about wokeness. And they're the actual snowflakes. That really makes me mad.
It's the dumbest controversy ever. Like it's so stupid. I mean,
They bought into
they
it.
changed the shoes on the green M&M, so Fox News is mad. Like,
And then they claim it's wokeness. And then they blame our side.
they're a bunch of fucking crybabies. It's just
Now, you
it's
mentioned
the dumbest
today.
nonsense ever. It's the
You
dumbest-
mentioned today that there was this purple one. There was
Yeah,
supposed to be a purple one
They introduced a purple one.
because
Girl.
of the peanut
Okay.
or something. I don't understand that. That was kind of dumb. Now that I can see going away. You don't need a special one for feminism because I actually liked the green one. I thought she was kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
But anyways, it's
I don't
just sad.
I eat M&Ms. I don't give a shit what color they are. They all taste like M&Ms to me.
Right. But to me it's sad because I like the iconicness of it. And I like those commercials. You know, it's like if you get rid of Mr. Peanut, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the same feeling. I'm not opposed to change, but sometimes pop culturally, I like when things are a certain way pop culturally sometimes. It's fun.
I mean, there's nothing saying they'll never bring them back. But you know, for whatever it was, 5 years, Budweiser had the What's Up guys, and then they changed that. Miller Lite, I think, or Coors Light had Miller Lite. It was Miller Lite had girls wrestling, in ridiculous places in ridiculous ways. Hoopa Red. I don't know what that means. It's just that marketing needs to be changed and updated every once in a while. I don't have any idea.
No, I understand that. I get it. But these were iconic. That's different. It's one thing if they start something new and it tanks. But those were iconic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They've been around for 20 years.
I understand that, but sometimes I like iconicness. However, I do like
it may simply be a mistake on Eminem. Maybe they wanted to try
that's
something.
what I'm trying to tell you. They're so iconic and beloved in our culture that I think it is a mistake. But I do like for example, Folgers coffee. My mom, when she was alive, that's all she made. So I always paid attention to the Folgers commercials. And then I started to notice during the pandemic, they switched up and they started like showing Zoom and they made it modern. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I have no problems with when brands change. It's just this the iconicness of it all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't give a shit. I just find the outrage, the fake outrage machine bitching and moaning because they're being woke. They're fucking
no, woke is just a
shut up.
You know what I feel? I feel woke is just a buzzword now.
It's a stupid boogeyman that certain
it's like it replaced the libtard. Now it's woke.
They think it's an insult, but it's not.
No, because they don't understand what woke is. Woke is actually a good thing.
Yes, folks. I mean,
but anyways, so what do you all think? Do you care if the Eminem characters go away? I just thought they were cool.
Yeah. Snafu. Mike, I don't know what snafu means.
I don't know what it stands for.
I know what foobar means. I don't know what snafu means.
Oh, hi, Mike. Yeah, what does snafu mean? I actually don't remember. I'm guessing FU is FU.
Insomniacs are woke alive. What is average?
Okay, Vanessa. That's a great way of using the word.
That's a good point.
I like Vanessa. She's pretty sharp.
You see, I can also highlight comments down at the bottom. See, but there's no need to highlight the comment if it's right there at the side, right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say last time. Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that was how I was actually catching up to read.
Right.
I mean, I guess I could go both ways. I mean, whatever.
But truthfully, it's easier to see it, the comments. I don't know. I just like this setup.
Yeah. Tarfu.
All right.
I think Mike's making stuff up now.
Look, if you're going to use these acronyms, you got to tell us what it is.
Confused or chaotic state. A mess. An enormous amount of my time is devoted to untangling snafu. There was a game on the old Intellivision system called Snafu, and it was a snake game. It was making lines. You were painting lines and trying to box in the other snake. It was called Snafu. So
I vaguely remember that.
And now they've got those for phones. Oh, let's see here. I've got to keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, that's a popular one when you're selling cars. Keep it simple, stupid. Like, y'all complicate the shit out of car deals all the time. Don't fucking tell me keep it simple. You're like, yeah, we'll bring in the thing and we'll bring in the trade in and we'll do the insurance and we'll do this and we'll do that. We'll hit them with this and hit them with that. And we'll complicate the shit out of this. Like, don't fucking give me keep it simple when your entire job is complicated. Shut up, man. Oh, Lord. I don't miss selling cars either. It's been 20 years.
There we go.
Almost 30 years. No. Yeah. Closer to 30 than 20. I think I sold cars when I was 24? So 23. Yeah, so it's like 23 years ago when I sold cars. Oof. 3 months. 3 months I sold cars. But you never would have taken me for a car salesman, would you? Son?
What?
Would you have ever guessed a car salesman when I was younger?
I can't hear you. If something about car salesman, what?
You can't hear me? Would you have ever guessed I was a car salesman when I was younger?
No. Were you really?
Yeah, for about 3 months.
No, that doesn't strike me. I didn't know you were interested in cars.
I'm not. Not particularly.
Were you like in college, or how old were you?
No,
Were you
never. No, it was just out of college. It was a job in between jobs. Uh, I'd left a management trainee position at Rush Enterprises, which was a heavy equipment dealership, and then left that position, went and sold cars for like 3 months, and then after that, I went to be a staff accountant at a nonprofit. So it was like a
Wow.
job in between jobs.
Wow. Well, I was surprised you were. What was it? You worked for the cemetery. What was it?
I was a so for about 6 years, I worked as a treasury accountant at a cemetery and funeral home consolidation
Oh,
firm.
that's right.
And then after that, I went to be a trustee for funeral homes and cemeteries. So I went from the consolidator to a bank, and I went from working with the trustees. I went from being a client of the trustee to being the trustee for the client.
Well, at least you had good jobs. I can't
Yeah.
wait to get out of mine. I
It was a great job. I hated the work.
No, I need to get out of my job situation stat.
Yeah. What are you doing to get out of your job situation?
Looking for work.
Oh, okay. Looking for another job.
Yeah, I
That's a
have no
good start.
place.
That's a
No,
good
don't
starting
laugh
point.
at that. I have to get out. I have troubles that I don't talk about, and I need to get a new job. And I'm looking for well, because I have a lot of customer service experience. So my job coach said, just concentrate on that. We discussed, and so I'm looking for a remote customer service job. So I found a whole bunch of jobs, but they're all out of state.
I got you. Not willing to move?
No. Remote job.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No, I don't have the means to move.
I got you. Okay.
Now I thought, until a few days ago, I was like, what difference does it make what state it is? Because remote, what does it matter? Until today, I read, hey, we're getting new labor laws. And I'm like, oh, darn, I won't benefit from the new law if I don't live in Illinois. I mean, if I don't work in Illinois. So
Right.
now I don't know what to do. Because apparently they want to give us paid time off for whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get up to 40 hours of paid time off.
So if you work remote from Illinois at a job that's in Kansas, you're not governed. You're governed by Kansas labor laws, even though you're domiciled in Illinois.
Well, because the company's not in Illinois.
I guess that makes sense. The company's domiciled in Kansas, so they're governed.
That's why I have to be careful, because some of the goofy ass states, I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I live in one of those.
You said it, man.
I did.
No, but you see what I'm saying? Because Illinois has better labor laws than a lot of the other states. And that's one of my concerns.
Yeah.
The guy goes, it doesn't matter where, if it's remote, don't worry about the location. And then I'm like, but some of the states have better labor laws. And Illinois is one of them. So, because as I was saying, I think they want to give us 40 hours of paid time off that we could use for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's for every hour you work, you get paid time off. I'm not sure, but this will happen in 2024.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking, I didn't see anything about the distinction between full-time and part-time. So I'm guessing part-time could apply too.
Yeah.
But probably they can only get as many as they work. I'm not exactly sure. I just found out about this. Because I get nothing.
Yeah, I mean, generally part-time doesn't qualify for time off, paid time off, or anything like that.
Actually, my library, they decide, because we had this whole big thing about people are leaving, and they're like, how do we retain the workforce here? And some part-timers get benefits. Not all part-timers get benefits. It depends how many hours you work. Of course, I get nothing. I really need a new job. I need to better myself.
I feel you. I understand. I've been there.
It's been hard well, there's a lot of things I don't tell you because the nature of what we talked about never comes up.
Yeah. I get that.
And so I'm in a difficult spot right now with my job. And I need to find a new job.
I get that. I feel it. I've been there.
And
I
I
understand.
found 9, I think they were 9, maybe.
Mhm.
And so tomorrow I have to go to the library to use a computer because mine is bust. And I have to make sure that the job is still available on the company website and apply.
Yeah.
And then get back to my job coach.
Yeah. Is the job coach a guy that you pay?
Oh no, I went through a nonprofit organization that helps people.
Okay.
And they were offering job coach assistance. And this guy used to work in sales, and he knows what he's doing.
Gotcha.
It's
I
just
always get skeptical of job coaches that you got to pay.
no, I don't have the
those
means
guys are always
anyway.
sketchy to me.
But then he's a volunteer dude, and he's retired people need stuff to do.
I got you.
And he gives very good advice. The problem is no one will consider me. However, when I took his advice, I got an interview, but they didn't go with me.
Well, it's a numbers game.
No. I wish that's what I was told. So my father asked me, because last September I got the job interview on a phone, via the phone. And it was actually cool because the place was not far from my house and you could do remote or you can come in. It might be like a hybrid situation. It was for customer service. I was so excited. And so I told my father, and I think what they do at this place is they sell construction equipment and stuff.
Okay.
And they rent out construction equipment, and I would have to like do quotes and answer their questions and stuff. So I said, Father, I didn't get the job. And you know what he said?
What?
Oh, it's probably because you were a woman.
That's entirely possible. Construction is extremely misogynistic, especially when it comes to sales and stuff like that. But looking for a job is a numbers game. It is straight up a numbers game. You're going to get 20% success rate at getting an interview, and of those interviews, you're going to get 20% success rate of getting the job, maybe less. So you got to get 5 successful interviews or 5 interviews, successfully get 5 interviews in order to get 1 job, which means you have to apply at 25 jobs. 25 jobs, you get 5 interviews.
Anyways, I have no choice in this matter. I have to keep trying.
Yeah, that's how. It's the same way with sales. It's the same way with you cast a wide net. A lot of the jobs that I've gotten have been through networking. But
yeah,
I haven't had many successful job hunts. I've only had like 5 jobs since college.
No, I don't want to say what I could say on stream here. If you really want to know, I could talk to you about this, but I don't think this is a place to talk about this on your stream.
Okay, no worries. We could talk about anything, literally anything else. Hell, we can answer Mike McClune's question from the previous stream. Why aren't people doing anything about a mental health problem in the United States? And
wait, he asked about that?
The mental health crisis in the United States.
Wait a minute. How did you get on that topic?
Oh, they were talking about guns and guns controls and stuff like that. When I was sealing up the bottles, I said that I think that people should have open carry all the time. Only carry should be open carry. There should be no concealed guns. You should have open carry. And if you're the type of person who's going to walk around and open carry, you should also have some kind of like indicator that you are the person that they need to go to in case problems happen and the police aren't around, because you're volunteering yourself to have that weapon on you. So you're volunteering yourself to be the person who will, protect us if somebody breaks it or busts into the room waving around a gun.
I'm
You
not
have
sure that's a good idea.
you volunteered yourself to be the person protecting the community. So you should have like a red sash and make like some kind of medallion or like a uniform with a funny hat so that
Are
people
you
know.
goofing off or are you serious?
Oh, half and half.
Because the reason why I bring that up is because whether we like it or not, you know, like police having guns, because some people are like, police maybe have outlived the usefulness of carrying a weapon, but I'm not in favor of. But I'm not in favor of civilians only having guns or police officers only having guns, and that, you know, because I'm just not. But here's what I want to point out. I decided to check out the Daily Show. That's what they call it now, the Daily Show. On Comedy Central on YouTube because I wanted to see who the new host was, and it's Wanda Sykes this week.
Okay.
And apparently Roy Wood Jr. had went overseas. He's one of the correspondents on the show, and he went to the UK. He was in England, and he was talking to people. I'm not sure if he went to other countries because he was talking to some people from Norway. But anyways, the subject of America came up about guns, and some couple said, this lady said she'd never been to America, but she always wanted to come to America, and they've talked about it. I think they were a married couple. Anyways, and she's like, because of the gun problem, so, you know, overseas is hurting us, apparently, according to what Roy Wood Jr. found out.
Nah. So we have fewer Norwegians coming to America.
No, this couple was not Norwegian. He was talking to other people. I think this couple was from England.
Yeah. So fewer English people come to America. That's fine.
But they were saying that they don't see people walk. They don't have people walk around. It's not like us. They don't have people walk around with firearms everywhere.
That's fine. That's England.
Well, that's the cool part about America, though, is like a lot of people are walking around with firearms and you don't know that they're doing it.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I don't like that about our country.
Well, I would argue that that's the problem because people walking around with guns and you don't see them, that's not a deterrent.
Well, it's not. You are right. It is not a deterrent, but there's a reason it's called concealed carry. You don't know that I have it.
Well, but see, that's the whole point.
That's because if you have a situation that breaks out.
If I don't know you have it, then yes. I don't know that you're there to protect me.
Well,
so that if shit happens, I don't know to go to you to say,
that taqueria in Texas, though, like that guy was concealed carrying, and he did his job.
Yeah.
He may have overdone his job in some people's opinions.
Wait. But that was not his job.
Well,
that was not his job.
Well, if you have a concealed carry, you have not the right, but it's kind of like, well, there are plenty of people. So like there was a shooting here in Portland at one of the malls here like decades ago. And there was a guy there that was concealed carrying, and he felt like he had a chance to shoot at the guy that was shooting at people, but there were plenty of people behind him. One of the things you do when you have a gun is you see what you're shooting at or what you're going to shoot at, and you look past it. You have to look at what's beyond what you're shooting at as well. And he decided not to take the shot or not to pull his weapon because there were plenty of innocent bystanders behind the shooter, and he didn't shoot.
Okay, well that dude was responsible, but like
I don't know if he was responsible. What he should have done is put himself in a position where he could take the shot.
Yes, but I don't know if he did or didn't, but he didn't shoot. But I don't know if there was plenty of people there because it was one of our more popular malls here in Portland. It was the Clackamas Town Center shooting in like 2013, 2012. I think it was like a decade ago. I don't remember the exact year.
But see, in those scenarios, okay, if I was a police cop, how are you supposed to know who the bad guy is and who the good guy is now? Well, if people are carrying and they decide to do this, like people take matters into their own hands.
That's why they should have the red sash and the medallion saying, I am a protector who
I,
don't
I,
have
And you know,
I disagree.
and how do I know that the civilian has proper training and whatnot? Because
You
because
don't.
of the
do
red
you
sash and
remember?
medallion.
Do you remember humble Gabby Giffords? Remember how she got shot on the corner when she was doing one of her congressional talks to her constituents?
Yeah.
And apparently in that situation, the guy that concealed carry, he was gonna shoot, but he was gonna shoot the wrong person.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean,
the problem here is yes,
there
there's
has
shitty
to be
people.
proof
There's
that
there's
there
there's
has
untrained
to be
people in
proof.
any group. There's untrained people in any group, and that's an outlier. But it's not necessarily an outlier. But it's like
Not when
like
you're carrying a gun.
it's a law of averages. Like you should to get a concealed carry permit, you should have to take some sort of like class. Yes, I agree, and I think you have to. You have to take at least one class, but you don't have to show proficiency. You just have to take the safety class.
But then how do we know? How do we know in those high emergency situations that they're gonna be trained?
I would rather 100 law-abiding citizens carrying guns than one outlaw, one fucking person that is. I'm sorry. Can I cuss on your stream?
I don't give a shit.
Okay. I would rather have 100 law-abiding citizens have concealed guns to stop the one bad guy that is breaking the law, killing people.
Okay, then my question to you would be.
That's
my question to Ike would be.
Things I've ever heard.
Ike,
What was that?
I'm not sure I agree with you.
Hold on. Sunflower. What did you say, Humble?
I said that is nearly one of the dumbest things I've ever. You would rather 100 untrained morons waving around deadly weapons.
Didn't say that. Didn't say that. Did not say that at all. You're misconstruing what I said.
No, you said.
100.
I didn't say untrained. I didn't say untrained. I said 100 law-abiding citizens.
But you said all they had to do was take one safety class. They didn't have to be proficient.
Well, the cool thing, the interesting thing though, the interesting thing though is here in Oregon, you have to take a class and you have to like get trained and you have to like apply to get a concealed carry permit. You have a bunch of states that have constitutional carry, which means you can conceal carry without a permit. But also here in Oregon, we have open carry.
What's the point of that?
Because it's their constitutional right, first off.
But if we don't know who has guns, that's also part of the problem. Because
that's actually the well-organized militia part is one part of the Second Amendment.
Don't quote bullshit Second Amendment talking points.
That's not bullshit Second Amendment.
Well-regulated militia is in the Second Amendment.
Yes, it is.
Not being,
but it says like the first part of it is keep and bear arms, and then there's a second part to the amendment.
But no one ever talks about that part, is what I think Humble's trying to say.
So anyway.
Well, yeah, like nobody's gonna allow a fucking militia around. Nobody's gonna want that.
I don't know. I can bring up an interesting point, but I don't know if that's a society I want to live in.
Well, then you're welcome to move to a different country.
Because my question to you is, if you want all these civilians to protect, then what's the point of having police?
Well, it's
what is the point of having police?
Like, no, I mean in your scenario. I'm asking you. Because are you trying to say that the civilians should replace police officers?
What's my scenario? I'm confused.
The one where you said you want 100 civilians to carry and
yes, there is a place for police officers.
That's what I'm asking you. What would you want police officers to do then, if that's the society we live in?
The job that they're paid to do, and they take an oath to the Constitution to uphold it.
Okay, but the civilians aren't paid to do that sort of job. So then why should they be doing that?
Well, they don't have to. Like, that's the thing, is if you don't want to protect other people, you don't have to.
Exactly. They're volunteering to protect other people, so we should know that they're volunteering.
Well, for the most part,
a red sash and a little medallion that says hero. So we know.
But you do have a point, Humble. I do think that in scenarios of when there's those kind of emergencies, they do have to kind of be identified. It's kind of like when people ask, is there a doctor in the building when they need medical help?
for the most part, if
because otherwise, how is a police officer supposed to know they're not the bad guy?
Hold on. I think you're misconstruing what some of the stuff that I'm saying. And
That's why
I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna backtrack here for a second.
Okay.
If I am concealed carrying a gun, I'm not carrying that to protect other people per se. That might be a situation that comes up, yes, but I am mainly carrying that to protect me and my own. I am not there to necessarily to protect other people. If somebody comes out and starts shooting at people, if I start shooting at them, then I'm going to become a potentially a victim of that other person. So I am mainly carrying I would mainly be carrying a gun to protect myself and my family and my property. And so it would not necessarily be up to me or behoove me to try to protect other people per se.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
I have firearms, and I just bought 2 today, and I'm going through the background check right now, and I'm mainly buying those to protect my property and myself.
Okay, that's your choice.
I don't necessarily need to tell people what I have because I've already doxed where I am on my streams, and so. But all the people need to know is if they come here and they want to fuck with me, then I'm going to fuck them right back.
But how is that a deterrent if they don't know that you have something that can fuck them right back?
Well, they know I can fuck them right back.
How do they know?
They don't. Like,
okay.
What's the term? Fuck.
No,
fuck around to find out.
No, but how is that going to stop them from doing badness if they don't know you have them?
You're not going to stop. You can't stop bad people from doing bad things. There's no fucking way to do that.
Oh, sure you can. That's why we have jails.
Well, the fucking liberals want to
and the death
get rid
penalty?
of that shit. We also here in Portland.
We're going to bring liberals into it. Okay, so what do conservatives want to do?
Well, they want more jails, but yeah.
Oh, sure. They want jails owned by private companies so that they can make money off of crime, so they can create more crime, so they have no incentive whatsoever.
Well, let's talk about the Clintons. Let's talk about the Clintons putting more people in jail than anybody else.
They also want jails for the slave. I'm going to add here. They also want jails. Some states still want the slave labor. However, some states.
Kamala Harris did that too in fucking California.
That is true. She did some bad things, and she wasn't perfect when it came to jail stuff. That is correct. But some states are actually getting rid of slave labor. But we still have slave labor.
Okay.
So that's why some people don't want to get rid of the for-profit aspect, because the companies make money.
I think jails are a necessary evil, just that we don't need them privatized is part of the problem. But also the government sucks. So there's no perfect example or perfect way to fix this.
So jails are intended to stop bad people from doing bad things.
Well, what we need to do is start cutting people's hands off for stealing shit.
So that would stop people from doing bad things.
Well, stop people from stealing stuff.
That's cruel and that's wrong. And that should not happen, because sometimes
stealing is also wrong though too. Like,
but I want to point out in your scenario here. I want to point out in your scenario, sometimes little kids snatch things at the grocery store, not knowing it's bad until they get caught. And then if you're going to cut off people's hands, I wouldn't want to cut off little kids' hands, because my nephew did that. He took something and he didn't realize. And then he had to go return it.
I think the more important thing to remember in that scenario, though, is that some amendments mean more to people than others.
Well, I'm gonna say this: guns are a necessary evil in this world. At one point,
for you.
At one point, somebody told me guns kill.
But at least you agree that they could be evil.
Yes. At one point, somebody told me guns kill. And I said, I must have some defective guns then, because my guns have never killed anybody. It's not the gun that kills. The gun is designed to kill, yes, but it's the person behind the gun that is the one that makes the decision to do the killing. People suck. People are terrible. People are evil.
Okay.
Cars kill more people than guns.
But cars
Do you
aren't
think
made
I'm
for
evil?
killing. That's the difference. Cars are made for transportation. Even the military people tell you that there are certain firearms that civilians shouldn't have. They're made for military combat, not for civilian life.
Do you think I'm evil? Am I deranged?
No.
So you'd have no problem going to a duel with me with you having a couple of swords and me having a rifle?
No, you don't bring a sword to a gunfight or a gun to a sword fight.
But you would be perfectly safe because I'm not evil and I have a gun. You'd have a sword, which would be more deadly than my gun because it'd be in the hands of somebody who's not.
That's also a very innocuous situation because, like, I don't think a lot of people would be in that situation.
Ironically enough, nobody has ever accepted that. Nobody has ever accepted that offer. Nobody.
I wonder why.
If I get to supply the ammunition and you're using a black powder rifle, yes, I will take those. I will take those.
Guns don't kill. Everybody who's ever told me that guns don't kill have never, ever, ever agreed to a duel with me.
Well, no. I never said guns. I did say guns don't kill, but no. Actually, no. Hold on, you're misconstruing what I said.
In theory of standing downrange from me with a gun.
Why would I stand downrange from a gun? You don't
the
point a gun.
Of doing it is absurd.
You don't point a gun at something you're not willing to destroy.
Who
that's,
even
that's,
set up?
That's rule number one.
You're making the assumption in this duel that I would even bother pointing the gun at you.
Well, I'm not going to take that chance. But exactly. I know that you
because guns in the hands of even a decent law-abiding citizen are deadly.
Oh, that's what Carson stands for.
I mean, that's the point. But even in the hands of a law-abiding citizen, a good, decent, law-abiding Christian man like me.
Yeah, you can make a dumb decision and end up shooting the wrong person. Yes, people make dumb decisions. People are fucking terrible.
I mean, people even have accidents when they clean their guns. They didn't realize, there was ammunition in the gun, or things happen.
That is the first rule of if you're cleaning your gun, you are in charge of. Oh, my fucking camera just decided to fuck up.
But yes, I agree with what you're about to say, Ike. Yes, but my point is, not everybody does the right thing when they're in front of a firearm.
Hold on, let me see how to fix this.
There's a lot of stupid people.
There we go.
Who have firearms. Not everybody.
Well, it's just like the ability to vote. Wait, I can hear myself.
Well, it's not just like the ability to vote, but
no, there's some people that shouldn't be allowed to vote because they make dumb decisions.
Yeah, but I've never.
But everybody has the right to vote, just like everybody has the right to own a gun.
Yeah, not everyone has the right to vote, though.
Well, that's true, but also felons don't have the right to own a gun either.
And the right to own a gun is more protected than the right to vote.
Right. That's sad.
I'm going to disagree with
that would be a really good idea, is to make it as hard to buy a gun as it is to vote. Like only have one polling place in a county.
I've seen this pulled up before, and it never turns out good. BlackBerry, okay.
Have the same number of gun stores as you do abortion clinics.
Wait a minute.
I like that.
I mean, you get your DMV license at the same time you get your driver's license at the same place you get your gun license.
That's a good idea because in some counties there are no abortion clinics, so there would be no gun
shops. You can buy all the guns you want. You just got to get them licensed at the DMV where people get their driver's license.
Sunflowers.
Their voting license.
Sunflowers. I have a question for you.
All right.
Do you think that private citizens should be allowed to own cannons?
Well, that's kind of tricky.
How? Why?
Because when I was in high school, when we were learning the Civil War, there actually was a cannon. So sometimes there's replicas or actual stuff to promote when you're teaching. So sometimes those things could be good teaching tools. Like I found it fascinating that there was a cannon outside.
All right.
So
So
it depends on what it's for. Like I mentioned on some stream, I know a guy who co-owns a tank. Now, I'm not saying you should necessarily have a tank.
Oh man.
If you're going to teach history and these things are out there. But what are you going to do with it, though? What are you going to do with a tank?
So I'm going to preface this with I'm a 2A absolutist. If the government owns it, you should be allowed to have it.
Yeah, I know that's how you feel.
But we're not gonna talk about that specifically. Joe Biden said that you can't go and buy a cannon. He actually said that in a speech a couple of months ago.
I think you mentioned this before.
Wait,
yeah.
Are you saying somebody was wrong when they made a public statement?
Well, yeah. Well, yes. You can't go out and buy a cannon. Guess what I have? Guess what I own? I own a cannon.
So what?
For what?
What purpose? So what's the point? What's the point of that statement?
Well, I just thought it was interesting that people are like, no, you can't own a cannon.
Made a mistake out loud.
Oh what do you do with your?
Well, Joe Biden is going to make a lot of mistakes.
If you don't mind me asking, why did you want a cannon?
It's not like you incited an insurrection on Capitol Hill or anything.
We'll talk about that later. But
I'm curious. I'm curious, Ike. What do you want a cannon for? Or is it like an historical thing?
Because it's awesome. It's a half scale Napoleon. It's a half scale Napoleon style cannon, the same they would have used in the Civil War. So
I want to have one mounted on
a replica, or is it the real they actually used?
No, it's a half scale, so it's a replica. So it's half the size of
I would want one mounted on my car.
That'd be awesome. Actually.
That is how I want to have a cannon. I want it mounted on a car, and I want it remote controlled so I could point it at people who piss me off. I don't want to shoot it. I just want to point it at them.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be great. We're actually going to design a trailer for it, so it's pointing backwards, and we're gonna make a Wile E. Coyote that's standing there like this, like on the back of the trailer. So, okay, some backstory because Sunflowers asked.
I'm curious.
The reason I own a cannon is my dad was in the artillery when he was in the military, and so there was a TV show we watched where this guy. His dad died and he got cremated. They put him into shotgun cartridges and they shot him out of the shotgun. So it was like a 21 gun salute for him.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
So when my dad dies, we have his funeral cannon. So we're going to have him cremated. We're going to put him in 21 cannon charges and we're going to shoot him out of my cannon.
That's cool.
Okay. If that's what makes you happy. Okay.
Also, I really need to because it's a breech loader. It's a breech loaded thing. The ATF.
I don't know what that means.
Breech. So if it's no, it's not breech loaded. It's front loaded. Front loaded. Breech loaded means you break the barrel and you can load it from the back. A front loader is not considered a firearm by the ATF. So I don't have to go through a background check to own a cannon.
Okay.
So we're gonna take it to the beach and shoot shit out of it in a couple months. It's gonna be awesome.
See, I'm a proponent of guns. I think I have no problem with people owning guns. I would love it if they were like trained and qualified, so we could like trust that they were competent. Yeah. That would be awesome. But
the same thing goes for cars.
I'm not a big fan of concealed weapons because they defeat the purpose of the weapon. If the weapon is a deterrent, a concealed weapon is not a deterrent. If it's
I agree with that.
Humble, I know we disagree on a lot of stuff, but I do agree with that.
Not protective at all. You're not protecting yourself. You're not protecting anyone else. Nobody knows that you're there to protect them. It doesn't deter. It doesn't protect. It doesn't engender any kind of comfort or because it's not there. Nobody sees it. It's missing. It's absent from sight. So it's not a deterrent. It's not an indication to anybody else that you're there for to protect the space, that you volunteered yourself to be the hero or whatever you want to be, or nobody knows to get behind you if shit goes down. Nobody knows to come to you if they need protection. Nobody knows to get your attention if somebody's starting problems.
Exactly, I agree with this.
I would much rather, if just to be honest with what it is, and not having your mind this magical idea that it creates a force shield around me. I've got a gun, everything will be protected, and everything. Like, you've got a gun. They can, if somebody wants to fuck you up, they can still fuck you up. And
then they have your gun.
You're not going to draw your gun and shoot them before they have shot you if they've already got their gun on you. It's not magic. It's a tool. And to be honest with what the tool is and what it does,
guns
you've
are
got to
tools.
be honest about what it can do. And it's not like this force shield. You know? Like when
I don't know.
It's a dumb example, but in Men in Black, the guys come in and he's towing away the vehicle, and the Edgar skin comes up and he says, he has the gun. He says, "That's my truck," or whatever. And
my cold dead fingers.
The tow truck driver turns around and says, "Please," and he lifts his shirt and there's the gun there. Like, what the fuck's that gonna do? He's got a shotgun pointed at you. You're just gonna show him
that's a Hollywood. That's a Hollywood. That is a Hollywood depiction of that.
That's a Hollywood
shit.
depiction,
It
but it's like common cultural understanding. I've got a gun. Like, what are you gonna do? I've got a gun. Yeah, it's in your belt. What are you gonna do?
There was a King of the Hill episode where a guy shows up asking for something. He's got a pipe, and Hank pulls. He has his golf clubs over here, and Hank's got his hand on the other side of the door, and the guy's like, if you have anything bigger than a putter, like, I'll leave. And he's like, I got a 9-iron. He's like, yep, okay, I'm out. Kind of like that.
I am so cold. It will not get warm in here. I've got a heater on, like, in between my legs, and it's just not.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm the odd one out. I feel differently about this topic.
I mean, there's plenty of people who just don't like it.
Well, Humble and I have similar opinions, but we also have way different opinions when it comes to, like, guns and whatnot. But
yeah,
yes,
you're
like,
very interesting in your opinion.
When it comes down to it, Sunflowers, you are definitely the odd man, odd woman out in this conversation.
Yeah, I because, like,
you see, I think
I hate to say it, but, like, for example, we recently in the state of Illinois we banned automatic weapons.
Every place has banned automatic weapons.
And high capacity magazines.
What's the definition of a high capacity magazine, though?
Don't look at me. I was gonna ask.
Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on the weird bullshit that fucking.
No. I was gonna ask you what it means, because I don't know what the law says that they're.
Well, that's the problem. Is they like to use these stupid terms. It's like, we're gonna outlaw semi-automatic every fucking gun that isn't a fucking like
bolt action.
It's semi-automatic.
Well, my bolt action hunting rifle is not semi-automatic.
Well, I have
a bolt action. I got to load it every time I shoot it.
Well, my cannon is technically like, you just load it once.
Well, it's a double barrel shotgun. The breech loading shotguns are not semi-automatic.
No, you're right. They are not.
Shell's done.
I have a Rough Rider. I have a Rough Rider Heritage pistol that's like a 6-shot. You got to pull the hammer back every time. That is not semi-automatic either.
Okay.
It's similar to what Alec Baldwin used to kill his cinematographer.
My 38 is semi-automatic. It's a revolver, but it's semi-automatic because I can pull the trigger and it shoots.
So like politicians like to use these words to confuse people, like semi-automatic.
Yeah,
it sounds terrifying, but that's literally almost every gun out there.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. They call it.
Sorry, Sunflower. I interrupted your question by answering it with a different question.
That's okay, but here's what it's called. They claim we banned assault weapon ban.
What's the definition of an assault weapon?
No, it says here assault style. This is an article. It says here assault style guns are no longer legal to buy in the state, meaning Illinois, and owning them unless they are properly registered is also illegal according to the new ban. I mean, that's just the basics. There's a lot more.
Buzzwords. It's all buzzwords.
Yeah,
What's the
there's
definition
gotta
of
be
assault
something to find
style?
out that stuff.
I know I'm
Anything
going.
like a lot of politicians would say an assault style weapon is a military style weapon. It just means the big black gun. And
Yeah,
so
I'm
there's a
trying
lot
to-
of
I'm trying
there's a
to,
lot of ARs. There's a lot of ARs that don't have the plastic bits put on them that have wood on it, wood things on it. It doesn't look like an assault weapon, which
Okay,
wouldn't fall
let me see if I
into
can
that.
get you more
And it's so
info.
stupid because it's the same configuration that they're using. It just has wood like everything. Am I wrong?
Oh, I mean, you're right. They use the term assault weapon, assault rifle. Mike just said assault pistol. These
Yes.
words don't have any specific meaning.
Right. I'm trying to find out for you.
But
You're not going to find out.
but they have a but in they say it, but like it has a meaning. An AR-15 is distinctly different from my 30-06.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right there.
It's distinctly different, and we know it's different, and that's what they mean by assault rifle. They mean
want
something more than a deer rifle, something more than a hunting rifle.
I have some information
It
here.
is not a hunting rifle.
All right, what do you got, son?
Well, okay. One of the bills is House Bill 5471.
Or at least not
This
an
one caps
That's
sale of,
that's in Illinois.
yes, Illinois. This caps the sale of high capacity ammunition magazines, bans switches that convert legal handguns into assault weapons, and extends the ability of courts to prevent dangerous individuals from possessing a gun through firearms restraining order. The new law also requires existing owners of semi-automatic rifles to register their ownership, ensuring that law enforcement knows the location of these weapons of war and who to hold accountable if they fall into the wrong hands.
So, I got a dumb question here.
Wait, hold on. There's a slightly little more here. The same bill also codifies the Illinois State Police's internet-based system for reporting stolen firearms and enhances security around certain guns transferred by requiring such exchanges taking place after July 1, 2023 to be filed with a federally licensed firearm dealer and extending the record-keeping time from 10 to 20 years.
Mike and Humble, you're right. It is all semantics. I do have a dumb question, like a super dumb question here.
Okay.
So if we want to end like murders, especially with guns, if we want to end murders, even with like handheld things like knives or like screwdrivers, can we just like especially in Illinois, because they have a big problem with murder there, and like especially Chicago, can we just outlaw murder? Can we just like make that illegal?
Because you're not solving the root cause of why people do these things in the first place. And Chicago is a different thing because I would say that has to do with the environment, meaning do these people have adequate schools? What is the economy like there? That sort of thing. It's a poverty issue as well, because a lot of people who live in Chicago throughout the years will tell you they don't get proper investments. Like, for example, when Rahm Emanuel was the mayor there, they actually discovered that instead of helping people with mental health, they actually got rid of some of the mental health clinics.
Was it Chicago?
But here's the thing.
Hang on.
Part of the problem with Chicago violence, because I know this from my life living in Illinois, is that it's very complicated because some of it is not all equal. Sometimes we have the people who are protecting themselves or they're battling with police and there's violent situations there. Then you got the gang situation. And the problem is that these gangs, they never seem to go away. And then they form other little gangs. So there's like a bazillion gangs. So gang violence has to do, in my opinion, it's a reaction probably to either not properly raising someone to give them good role models, and or poverty. Because I think when you don't invest in certain communities, then life on the street happens. And I've seen this in my life living in Illinois. So it's a very complicated thing. And just outlawing murder doesn't get to the root cause. Like when you talk to Bacon, he always
and that's part of the problem. Trying to have a real discussion and a real conversation about it, and instead of saying like, how do we reduce crime, he's like, how do we end all gun violence?
I know you were kind of joking, but I had to put
murders
that out
with screwdrivers, and let's just outlaw blah, blah, blah. It's making a mockery of the whole fucking discussion. It's just
cop out, yes. Yeah. But like, and it's not like Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in the fucking country.
Ending all murder.
Ending all crime. You're gonna go down that road. Part of the problem with that thinking is it doesn't take into account that guns are easily available across state lines, because a lot of the Midwest states now, whether I like it or not, are going Republican, and they have lax gun laws. And we have traced that a lot of the guns do not come from Illinois. They come from out of state because it's easier to get to.
Literally all of the guns that are
gun laws are part of the problem.
Out of Chicago.
Well, a good portion of them are stolen, first off.
Literally all of them come from outside of Chicago. A significant portion of them come from Texas. So if you want to reduce gun crime in Chicago, you ban guns in Texas.
I disagree with that.
Because a lot of people in Illinois guns everywhere.
Hold on, you guys are talking over each other. One at a time, please.
It would cut the supply of guns to Chicago by about 30% by banning guns in Texas. You ban the sale and distribution of guns in Texas. Or it moves it to another state.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but I also don't think that that your percentages are accurate. Like, where are you getting those percentages from?
All right, let me see.
Last time I saw it was Institute of something crime statistics, and it was a study from about 6 to 8 years ago.
6 to 8 years ago. That's a little bit different, but I actually would not mind looking into that, because that is an interesting statistic.
I googled
that
it.
I've never.
I googled it with some.
That's what I'm about to do. But that's an interesting
at least I think it was 6 years ago. It feels like it, but it's like
interesting fuck, I can't even say
that. Other states in the Southwest, Midwest, whatever. But it's like you're putting your finger in the hole in the bottom of the boat, and all the water's just rushing around. I mean, it's
humble.
A patchwork of laws is not possible, not reasonable. But it's not the point isn't to end all murder and end all gun crimes, just reduce it. Yes. And 100% of the crimes committed with guns, mental health, whatever, minorities, poverty, all the other shit, 100% of them are committed with guns.
I have something to tell you, Hummel.
It's harder to get guns the same way you make it harder to have an abortion. You make it harder to buy.
Well, no, you're right. Outlawing guns, outlawing abortion just makes people want to go and do it illegally, and so you're correct.
I mean, it's not that you outlaw it. Just make the channels to get it a little more. Give them a 30-day waiting period. That's not gonna stop you from murdering somebody 30 days from now, but there's an entire classroom of children in Uvalde who would have been spared had there been a 30-day waiting period. Had there been a 5-day waiting period,
or if the teachers were armed.
No, armed teachers, because guess who would have been shot first?
The teachers.
That's what I would do.
If you knew, like that's the thing is we were talking about like concealed carry. That's the thing about concealed carry. You don't know that they have it. It's kind of like we already talked about that taqueria. We talked about the taqueria in Texas. The guy didn't know that guy had a gun.
Yeah. It didn't stop him from robbing the taqueria, though.
Well, yeah, but still, he's not going to rob any place ever again.
It didn't prevent it. And if you know you're going to a school and that the teachers might be armed, you shoot the teachers first. You telling me that's not what you would do?
Or you just don't go to the school where if you
telling me that's not what you would do.
Gun-free zones.
If you decided you were going to go shoot up a school,
I would never do that.
Everybody says they would never do it, but people do it all the time. If you decided you were going to go shoot up the school, the first thing you would do is shoot the teachers because you know that the teachers might be armed. In Ohio, teachers can be armed. What would you do? First thing you do.
Not go to a place where I know there's guns. That's why you go to a gun-free zone to fucking do that shit. You shoot the teacher,
you bar the door, and you start picking off the kids.
Okay.
You telling me that's not what you do?
Well, I don't like the implication. I don't like the implication of that's what I would do. Like I would never do that. First off,
well, of course,
I think he means in general.
You'd never do it.
I know.
You know, I mean, no guy gets married and says, you know what? In about 13 years, I'm going to murder you and my children. So I do. Nobody says that, but most of the mass murders in the United States is a guy who kills his wife and children, and then himself. But nobody gets married saying, hey, you know what? In about 13 years, I'm going to lose my job, come home and kill you and the kids and anybody else in the house. And then
I disagree with your opinion about Uvalde. If the teachers had the option of being armed, then there's no way of us knowing yes or no that what I'm saying is correct or what you're saying is correct, because there's no way of fucking predicting that. But I think that had the teachers been armed, then it would have been a different outcome.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say different outcome because I do agree with your opinion that if he knew that the teachers were armed, then he would have picked off the teachers first. Possibly armed, would have picked off the teachers first. But then also there would have been other teachers in the school hopefully trained to take care of that situation as well.
So in the case of Uvalde, he goes into the school, gets into a classroom, bars the door. What outcome do you think would have been different?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what I'm.
You honestly probably don't know either.
Well, no,
there's no way for us to know.
If we were honest about guns, what guns can do, and what people with guns can do, we wouldn't say things like that. If we were being honest, we would look at the scenario and go, okay, he kicks in the door, he picks off the person who's most likely to be armed,
True.
Bars the door, now he's got a room full of innocents. What was going to happen? Were they going to form up in formation and do what the cop do? Miss Sullivan, the second grade English teacher, was going to kick in the door and guns ablazing and take
and
it
out. Can I chime in here?
That's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. You got me. Like,
I mean, my wife's a teacher. My mom was a teacher.
My mom's a teacher too. And I'm not gonna be one of those people that's going to backtrack over myself and fall over myself to try to come up with a reason. No, you got me.
You know, that's
a rare thing these days. Like if somebody gets caught and they're like, well, this is a blah 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 this. Yeah. No,
right. I appreciate that. I mean, it's a very hard thing to think about and walk through. It's frustrating and it seems intractable, but it shouldn't.
No, that's why I appreciate you. I hope that I am for both of you, helping you question some of the stuff that you think.
Yeah, you're like Bacon. Bacon does that.
And I'm glad that you guys are helping me question some of the stuff that I believe.
Can I point out something? May I?
Yes,
please.
To Ike, this is to Ike, because in your scenario,
make it quick because I have to pee really bad.
Go pee, and then I can tell you what you're doing.
Ask me. No, I don't have to pee that bad. Just ask me. I can answer this.
It's not a question, and I want to point out something that
Go for it.
In your scenario of teachers being armed, lots of teachers would not be teachers today if they had to be armed, because I've heard in political discussions, when I tune into news or I get news sources, lots of teachers say they don't want to do that because that's not what they signed up for.
That's the problem. The problem, though, is...
And we would be losing very good teachers.
Sunflowers. The thing is, I think that teachers should have the option and
We'd
not
have
forced.
Okay, and then if they do, where are they going to store the gun? Because little kids are going to be curious, and then you're going to cause more problems.
That's not something that I know. That's not something that I have thought. I've thought about it, but it's not necessarily something that
teachers.
What was that? Say that again.
We would have very different teachers.
Yes, agreed. But like the whole where to keep the gun, where to keep the gun, and how you should keep the gun. That's up to, like, in my opinion, and I'm not the one that's making this decision. It'd be up to the teacher where they would store it, but there would definitely be like categories and places that they should be storing it to keep it safe at all times.
I think you mean well, but I also feel this is going to end in more problems than you actually can.
That's the same thing I think when it comes to a lot of the stuff that you say.
Yeah, I know. I don't hate you for anything in this regard.
Same here.
We just see the world completely different.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going on right here. There's three of us that have somewhat similar ideas, but different ways of dealing with it.
We broach the spectrum.
Yeah,
we go from complete unregulated to completely regulated to somewhere in the middle, where I have absolutely no problem with it as long as it's competent and properly.
And so we're having a very stable and very balanced discussion right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Personally,
there's some minds being changed at this point as well.
No.
And that's the best part about this kind of conversation.
Well, maybe. But personally, I want it to be very difficult to get firearms, and I want people to have oodles of training, and I want them to prove it.
All right. I'll talk about 114 when I get back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right. Cool. I have to point out something to Humble. Yes. Do you mind if I take it away?
Go.
All right. Remember we were talking about I always make this comment when we talk about guns. It's the lax gun laws that are the problem.
Yeah.
Because I remember how I said to you guys that a lot of the Midwestern states are going Republican and they have lax gun laws, and you were saying the guns come from Texas.
A significant number of them.
You might be happy to know that you might actually I have not seen that data. I just wanted to point out something. I'm not saying you're totally wrong. I just come across this. In Illinois, we have ABC 7 News, and they do an I-Team report, Chuck Gowdy and company. That means they deep dive into things to give us more information. And this is from 2002. Less than half the guns used in Illinois crime come from Illinois. And where do we get this data from? ABC I-Team answers a question about where all the guns come into Chicago are from. Now, I know for a very long time that we get guns from out of state. So, ATF Traces data shows the top 5 states where gun recovery in Illinois were originally purchased from are Illinois, 49.8%, Indiana, 16.7%, Missouri, 5.4%, Wisconsin, 3.9%, and Kentucky, 2.6%. Federal agents at the ATF identified the source state of 11,708 traced firearms in 2020.
Texas is 1.8%. I was way overstating it.
I did not see Texas on this list. You might very well be right, but
it's from Chicago.
As far as I knew nothing about Texas and firearms coming into Illinois. They could very well.
From 2017.
Okay, maybe things change because throughout the years I've heard things like the guns used to come from Mississippi.
Well, they do. A portion of them, and maybe it was the ratio, because of the ones coming from outside the state, it's still not even 30%. It's,
Yeah, but I think
is
the ones coming from
more
Mississippi
3%, I guess, is what I was looking at.
was
More
the
like
time when
3%.
people were, you know how people like, maybe it was during the Civil War time.
Mississippi is the second highest source outside of Indiana of out-of-state guns coming into Chicago.
Right. So I personally
Roughly
think
10%.
we should ban out of sale guns. You can't buy a gun out of your state.
Oh my God, banning things doesn't do anything to
I don't
anybody.
think that's
But when
realistic.
we had the assault rifle ban during the Bill Clinton years, we actually had less gun violence.
Now
Isn't
you
that
could
right,
say you could absolutely state that gun dealerships can't deliver out of state. I can't deliver, my distillery can't deliver whiskey out of state.
Yes.
So you could I mean that would be a reasonable regulation. Say, you know, a gun dealer can't deliver a gun out of state. You can't buy it across state lines.
What do you think of?
That's reasonable.
I have a question for both of you. You can
Mike,
answer the,
close up shop. Mike, cheers. Good night, man. It was a pleasure having you around.
Mike,
We'll still be on for probably another hour or so, I bet. So
I have a serious question, and either of you can answer this. Just be honest in your opinion. When people, okay, maybe this is
always honest.
maybe this is more of in the South. I've heard people say that whether sometimes it's like a rifle. I don't know if it's other firearms. Like, this is my grandpa's. I got inherited this, or they sell guns from family to family. Okay, what should we do in that scenario? If like somebody dies and they give them their like grandfather's rifle to the grandson, okay, shouldn't we have tracked where those firearms are? At the very least, should they have a license?
No, technically speaking, if that happens, you still have to go through a gun dealer to have it transferred. But there are cases where guns are old enough that they just get grandfathered, literally, to whoever they were willed in the will.
Now wait a minute.
It depends on the state. It depends on the state.
What does that mean?
State of Texas.
That they're free from the registry?
Yes.
And because they're just, wait a minute. It's only because the firearm is old?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also depends on the gun too.
But why should that matter? Why should the age of a gun matter? I'm asking for clarification.
I've got my grandfather's shotgun and my father's shotgun, and another. He had 3 shotguns that he bought for me and my brother and my other brother, and I've got all 3 of those shotguns too. So I've got one, my grandfather's, my dad's, and the other 3. So I've got 5 shotguns for no good reason.
5 shotguns, why not?
But what I don't understand.
I mean, if I can't hit the fucking bird in the first 2 shells, I'm not going to need the other 4 guns.
Okay, if somebody wants to give you their firearm and you want it because it reminds you of your relative, fine. But I don't understand what the age of the firearm has to do with being exempt.
Are you saying that when somebody dies, the firearm should just be destroyed?
No, I mean, they could give it to someone. I'm saying if they want to do that, fine, but they should still be traceable. Like,
they are technically,
like where it's from, and yeah.
Well, you said their grandfather did. No, I don't quite understand.
The other problem is most guns aren't traceable because the government doesn't have. They also literally can't have a database of guns. It's illegal for them to do that. If they do have it, then they probably shouldn't.
They could,
illegal,
but they don't because.
If a gun gets used in a crime, they can search the serial number. If they have the serial number, they can find where it was sold. They can find who owned it originally. And then if it got stolen, first off, if you get your gun stolen, you need to report that within 24 hours because if somebody uses that in a crime, you are liable.
Yeah, but that sticks about as
Wait just a minute.
That only sticks if you're a minority.
I need some clarification here.
There is no like national gun registry They can't do that.
Pure
Wait
statewide.
a minute.
Yeah, you're right. There is no
they can't do
statewide
it?
one either. Well, sorry.
Or are you
Sunflower.
saying it's illegal if the states do it?
Hold on. Say that again.
Are you only talking about the federal government here, or are you saying that the states can't do it either?
Yes. Yes.
No.
Okay, because I'm
States can do
confused
it. It's a
because I
state
want to
by
point
state.
out something.
Hold on.
Illinois
Sunflower.
launched a database for tracking
Sunflower.
illegal firearm info. Do you
Sunflowers.
find that idea to be wrong?
Sunflowers. Let Humble respond as well, please.
Hang on. It's a state by state thing. Some states do it, some states don't, and some states do it better than others.
Yes.
But it is absolutely 100% forbidden on the federal level because of obvious reasons.
So, Sunflowers, what's your question?
That's what I was wondering. If you were only talking about the federal government and or state.
It's the state by state. Yes, they can technically do it.
Okay.
Federally, they cannot do it.
Yeah, and again, some do it much better than others, on purpose. Some do
Okay.
it worse on purpose.
All right, because in Illinois, it says here, Illinois has no provision for registration of firearms. However, some communities have their own law.
It could potentially go what is it? County to county, or even city to city.
City to city. Houston, the city of Houston, the county of Harris, where Houston is located, have very stringent gun tracking systems. If you take your gun to a pawn shop
Yep.
in the city of Houston, the serial number gets recorded, tracked, reported back to the city, and that's why pawn shops in the city limits of Houston very rarely take guns, because it's such a pain in the ass.
Okay.
So you got to go to the county.
I've got a quick question here, really quick. Humble, I know you've told me your name and I forgot it
Joe.
already.
Joe.
Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to remember that now.
Just call me Humble. It's fine.
Oh, okay, Humble's fine. So the thing is, I'm gonna get some money this week. I'm gonna email you, and I'm gonna buy one of your bottles. Maybe hopefully two, because I want to break in my cigar glass.
Ooh.
So
Those are cool.
It's got a slot for the cigar and a space for the bourbon.
That's nice. You can just like hold your cup up and go, and then drink, and then
Exactly.
you never actually have to take your hand off the glass.
Yeah. So I also don't want to change things. I do want to ask a question about my craft. So tonight I made some troll crosses, and so this is the first one here. Let me see if I can make that.
That's really cool, Ike.
That's the first one I have. But then
Cool.
the second one isn't as good. Like one of the curls is just kind of shitty. The question is, do you guys think that the fifth one is probably the best of all? Not the fifth, the third one, best of all three?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So
It's hard. It's a little bit tough to see, but there it is. That's better. Yeah,
Let me hold it. Let me hold it this way. There.
it's nice. I like that.
I like that one the best.
Troll cross.
Troll cross. It's a Norse thing. It's supposed to ward off evils or unwanted spirits.
Oh, like rum.
So this one is the 5-inch
Jägermeister.
round stock I used. I'm gonna make more of this one. Humble and Sunflower. We'll talk later. I'm gonna make some more of these. I'm gonna send both of you one.
Oh, thank you.
Dig it, man.
That's very nice.
Appreciate that. Ward
How
off,
long did it take you to make that?
ward off spiced rum.
So like I thought this last one I thought I was supposed to go on to Humble's stream to run Jackbox. So this one took me about 25 minutes.
Wanted spirits, and nobody's listening to me.
This one took me about 25 minutes to make, and so I think I could mass produce this and probably get it down to about 8 minutes per.
People come to my house carrying Tito's, and it just falls
But
out.
that's really cool. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you could do this.
Humble's not as. I'm impressed that he's fucking making whiskey. I like your Night's Watch like fucking like.
I do. I walk around and I'm like, winter is coming.
I fucking love
Come
that. My favorite thing about all of this, though, and we can go back to the conversation we were just having, even though I derailed everything.
No, I'm good.
Sunflowers and Humble. We
If
disagree
you
on
send me one of those and somebody walks into my house with some shitty ass tequila, I'm coming after you because it does not ward off unwanted spirits.
Oh, that's a good point. What you got to do is throw it in the fireplace, and then you just throw it into the tequila bottle.
All right.
Or throw it at them. But what I was gonna say is Sunflowers and Humble is we're sitting here. We have vastly different ideas about different things, and we're still having a fun time.
Because you're awesome. Because you're an awesome human being. That's why.
Yeah. I think both of y'all are pretty awesome people too.
I, like Humble, I'm gonna apologize again. I didn't realize you wanted me to run Jackbox.
No, I thought you were planning on doing it. I mean, when we talked on Friday, you were like, "Yeah, I'll be there on Monday." Like,
I was also drunk. Yeah,
you were pretty fucking lit.
I was drunk as shit on Friday. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Good thing.
I drank an entire bottle of what y'all thought was vodka that night.
Whoa,
So,
really?
I'm apologizing. Thursday.
I was fucked up as y'all.
I'll be there Thursday. What did we say? 7:00 my time.
7:00 your time. 9
Yes.
o'clock my time.
Thursday.
Do I need
7
to send you a
p.m.
reminder?
Yes, probably.
Do you need a reminder on Instagram?
Oh yeah. Message me on Wednesday.
Okay, I'll do it.
Man, I love how this one turned out. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, when it comes to guns, I've never really been opposed, but I just think if we were more honest, you know, like don't conceal it, put it on your hip, wear it with pride, god damn it.
God, no.
But that's just the thing. If you don't feel comfortable wearing it with pride, walking around among civilized people with a fucking 6-shooter on your hip, then maybe you shouldn't do it. Just like if you're not comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable going to a pharmacy to buy condoms, you're probably not ready to have sex.
Right.
True. Actually, I can
Right?
agree with that.
That's what my dad told me when I was a kid. That's what I tell my kids. If you're too embarrassed to buy condoms, you're not ready to have sex. So if you're too embarrassed to carry a gun where people can see it, maybe you shouldn't. Like, you know,
You're right. When it comes down,
a bottle of whiskey in your just walking around with a bottle.
when it comes down to it, own your shit.
Yeah.
So, but
be honest about it. Be all like, look, I'm the fucking here, and have your fucking rifle about on your back. Show
My
them.
problem with open carry here in Oregon is if you go into Multnomah County, which is where Portland is, people are going to have the cops calling you within minutes. And it also, like in Multnomah County, it makes you a target for people to harass you. And so, like, I wouldn't open carry Multnomah County. Here in the county that I live, yes, I would definitely open carry because these people all know what's going on and they trust each other. And I probably know I know everybody within a 4-block radius of where I'm at right now. I know them by name.
Yeah. But
and
again,
I've seen them walking around with
they're allowed to have standards. They should have standards.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel comfortable carrying an open carry firearm in the community, that's that community standard. And
the only reason that they don't want you open carrying in Multnomah County is because they're lefty weirdos, and they think that Antifa
weirdos walking around with a fucking arsenal hanging off.
Well, yeah, that too. But they think that Antifa is going to protect them instead of burning their house down.
Right, because anti-fascist bad guys, fascists are the good guys.
I didn't say that. I said Antifa, not anti-fascist.
Right. Antifa is literally anti-fascist.
Yeah. We can have that debate. We can have that debate at a different time. Sorry, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Play the straw man game.
Can't hear.
You're breaking up.
I can't hear. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, give him a minute.
I'd like to hear what he's saying.
We're both
can't hear him.
Breaking up. You're breaking up on my end too.
It seems like it might be like Sunflowers and I are doing good. It might be on your end.
Yeah.
You still there?
Y'all are on my end. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
I would love to have this conversation. Yeah, we're good now. We're good now. Yeah, we're good now.
Good now.
But
so went through a little rough patch.
But here's the thing. if we're on this particular topic, okay, I'm going to give a scenario here. I have a friend who she grew up in California, and she had to move to Georgia because after her mom died, she had to live with her godparents because she lives in poverty, because she cannot work, because she's around my age. She's a little older than me, and she's so sick that she had to move to Georgia because it's cheaper to live. And the godmom said, "You can come live with us." And I asked her what it was like to live in Georgia because I've never been there. And she was telling me that she sees guns everywhere, okay? And she says seeing guns everywhere did not make her feel safe. It actually made her feel unsafe. And so if we're this completely different about this topic in society, then how do we come to some conclusions?
I have an opinion about this.
I'm proposing this because I'm curious what you both have to say on that. If we all want different things and people have different experiences, like I have a friend who explained to me why he thinks we should carry, because he had scenarios in his life where he saw it as a form of protection. But he also recognized I did not come from that environment. Mm-hmm. So I see the world on this issue differently because I'm probably, how should I put this? I probably come from a place of privilege, even though I was born and lived in Chicago for a little while, where I don't have to deal with firearms. I mean, for protection, like I never needed to. So you see, I see this differently. So if we all see this differently, how do we come to common ground?
I don't think there's any common ground, actually.
No, I think there's distinctly common ground. Because
we have to care about public safety. I mean, you can't ignore this and go, yeah, let's just keep going with the way they are. Because people won't come to this country now because of our gun problems. People are too afraid, and you can't basically go anywhere anymore.
To be quite honest.
That's good.
I think in general, if we're honest about it, that's where it comes from. And there's a lot of people that just repeat talking points from the NRA, and they're not being honest about it because the NRA isn't honest.
No, I agree. Like I've never been part of the NRA, but yeah, no, they're a political organization. They give people money to help further their causes. They're just the same as like any other political organization, like Greenpeace or like Planned Parenthood. No, they're not.
We're not on the same level, but I think he means campaign donations.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's what I meant. Like, you're right, but you're also you whatever.
I know what you mean. I'm playing.
We're on the same page.
But seriously, if we're honest about it, you carry a gun around for protection. Well, what the fuck are you going to protect yourself from?
That's why I usually only have my
pocket is not going to protect you.
That's why I usually have my weapons at home. When I'm out and about, I feel like I'm usually mostly safe. But my personal property is worth more to me than the person that's trying to steal its life.
Oh, sure, but even at home, I mean, I've got 2 pistols. Hell, I got one here. I've got 5 shotguns and a rifle. None of those are going to protect me in my house. If somebody, kicks in the door, I've got to go run into my gun safe, pull out my gun, take off the lock, load it up with shells, and then go after the dude. I'm literally going to run past a fireplace poker, a bat.
I have one of those.
Several pieces of karate paraphernalia. Hell, the pillows on my couch are going to be more useful to me. 38.
The other night, somebody pulled in next to the fucking caboose here. I grabbed my fireplace poker and I stood outside for a second to see what they were gonna do, because I wasn't around where I could grab something more significant. So the fireplace poker, I'll fucking hit somebody in the face with that.
And
but
even more significantly than that, if we're being honest about the whole discussion, like truly honest about the whole discussion, nowhere in the Second Amendment does it say personal protection of your own property. Nowhere.
Well, technically, yes.
Nowhere. No, not technically about it. Like, nowhere. It doesn't say it.
The militia part. Regulate. What is it? Regulate the militia.
If we're being completely honest about it, this notion of personal protection with firearms came about in the early 1980s. It did not exist prior to that.
You mean like with the castle laws and all that stuff?
Yeah. And if we're being perfectly honest about it, castle laws are laws that were written out of fear so that white guys can shoot black guys. Because who are you protecting?
Speaking of that,
are you talking like castle doctrine kind of stuff? Is that what you're saying?
Who are you protecting your house from? Who is they that you're protecting your house from?
I think after Trayvon Martin died, I think Mrs. Fulton and other people, I don't know if it had anything to do with Trayvon Martin's death, but they were talking about that, castle laws and different things. And
so I've got the Second Amendment pulled up here. There's a comma, which separates the two statements of the Second Amendment, which means there's 2 separate parts.
Yeah, which part of it?
Well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The comma is important there.
The comma was important there in 1776. It is 2023.
Okay.
Because if you want to talk about the original, because if you want to talk about the original text of the Constitution, A, it wasn't in it, and B, black people are 3/5 of a person.
And also, we didn't have the same kind of weaponry way back when as we do now. Like,
so are you saying that black people should be 3/5 of vote then? Because it's all the same Constitution.
If you want to talk about literal interpretation of commas from 1776, you can't.
Well, we have to go through the entire Constitution. Then we have to go through the entire Constitution and talk about every fucking comma. At your point, then
you're the one who brought up the commas.
Well, yeah, the comma is important in the Second Amendment.
Okay,
because it separates the militia from the being able to keep and bear arms.
According to your interpretation.
Oh no! The Constitution is a dead document.
You want to talk about the real purpose of the Second Amendment? It was so that states had militias so that they could control their slaves.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was a significant part of it.
Well, and the militia is definitely a significant part of it too.
Did not want to have standing armies, standing federal army.
It's to protect us against the government.
No, wait a minute, Ike. Are you saying this is about tyranny?
Another modern interpretation.
I'm just asking if that's what Ike's getting at.
What? Say that again, Sunflower. Are you referring to tyranny? Bob's not wrong. What was that?
Are you referring to tyranny here?
Yeah. We're talking about being able to protect ourselves from the government and also from other people and ourselves.
Wait a minute, Ike. Wait a minute. What are we protecting the government with? Because government has
no. We're not protecting the government. We're protecting.
From the government. Is what I meant to say.
From the government.
So if you have a rifle or a shotgun or some sort of firearm. How are you going to go up against the government who has all the military equipment?
Well, let's go back.
So I never understood this argument.
Let's go back to the.
This is an anti-military argument.
What was that?
This is an anti-military argument.
Well,
This is an argument in favor of shooting soldiers.
What I was going to say is the United States not the United States government, but the government at the time was trying to implement taxes that were like, oh, you don't want to do these taxes. And I'm doing a fucking like really piss poor job explaining how and why the Americas has come about. And we were like, let's not do that. So we decided to protect ourselves and go up against the government and be like, we don't want to deal with this. And so we fought them in a war for that. And we won with help from the French, which is kind of awkward because the French kind of suck. But that's why we put the Second Amendment in there.
Suck, but we wouldn't have won the Revolutionary War without them.
Well, yeah, now they suck, but they didn't suck at the time, apparently.
Okay, but I still don't understand the argument about we need a Second Amendment because of tyranny. Because if we have all these military equipment, like the fighter jets and tanks and bombs and all these modern warfare stuff, I still don't understand how the civilians think they're going to go up against the government.
Well, that's the problem. Is I'm a Second Amendment absolutist. That the citizenry should have the same things that the government has, but that has definitely changed. And
so wait a minute.
After 100 law-abiding citizens with nuclear weapons.
And I didn't say anything about nuclear weapons. The government shouldn't even. Our government shouldn't even have those.
So
well, you see,
wait
that's
a minute.
the thing. If the Second Amendment is supposed to protect us from tyranny, we're going to have to cut the military budget by about $750 billion.
Oh, agreed.
And if you
we can talk about it at a later time, but yeah, I agree.
Never.
And if you think civilians should have the same thing as the government, then what? You want people to have like the mother of all bombs, that sort of stuff. Like
Moab?
Really?
I would like to have one of those. That would be so.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But
because first of all, if we're going to allow for that, we would have to be, for my viewing of what I think America should be like, it would be very difficult for people to get them. They would have to be highly, highly regulated.
That's where we differ.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Because in circulation,
that's why it's so hard to get an F-16.
Because, as we discussed with guns, remember we pointed out that in Chicago, lots of the guns are for the gun violence due to illegal guns. Do you really want these things circulating without being highly regulated, like a nuclear weapon and bombs and all this stuff?
I have a dumb question. A really dumb question.
Just saying.
Should women be allowed to vote?
Exactly, yes, because I told you, I mentioned this on the stream before.
That's also an amendment, which didn't come about at the same time that the fucking Constitution was done.
I'm going to answer you. Women should have the right to vote because we are a resident and a citizen of this state.
So then everybody should be allowed to own guns.
I believe all adults past the 18 on up, because this is the country they live in. They should be, if they want to participate in our government, they should have access to vote. And we should make it very easy for people to vote, not infringe on their right. Because we are the government. We, the people.
Also, the people should be
able. I'm even down with the idea that every single man, woman, and child should be allowed to own guns above the age of 18. And they should be members of the militia, and those guns should be registered so that when it comes time to call up the militia, they can be called up. And if they're not willing to be registered and be called up as part of a well-regulated militia, they're not responsible enough to own those guns.
Hold on. Can I interject there? I like your idea. I like what you just said. If the militia is a state-based thing and the gun registry is state-based and not national-based. I agree. 100%.
How's the federal government call up the state militias? if the federal government doesn't have access to
no. If the states are going to go up against the federal government, and they're not, and then they're not going to share their militia information with the federal government, I agree with that, because the states should be allowed to rise up against the government at some point if they need to. Not when, but if they need to.
Yeah, that worked out really good for them the last time. But how's the federal government going to call up the militia if they don't have access to the?
Well, then the states, like if the states are going to go against each other like they did in the Civil War, they should be allowed to not give to not have that information to give to the federal government, because then the federal government going against the states that are going against the federal government would have all the information on the people that are in those fucking militias.
But a well-regulated militia is necessary to the security of a free state. The free state mentioned in the Constitution is the federal United States of America.
But the free state could also be against the federal state.
It could also mean a lot of things, but it
yes,
mean
no, I agree. No, I do agree with what you're saying, but I think that if they do have the militias, it should be state by state and not federal.
Yeah, sure. And they should be called up by the federal government. In order to be called up by the federal government needs to know who the commander is, who has the guns, and where these people are located.
We are slightly on the same page, and I'm okay with that.
I need clarification.
And if you're not willing to do it, you're not responsible enough to have a gun.
Yeah, agreed. I'm going to agree with that. A state-run situation, yes, but not a federal-run situation. I will agree with that.
Guns.
Okay, can I get clarification here? In modern times here, are we to conclude that the militia we talk about now is the National Guard?
No.
What is meant by militia?
No, the National Guard is a federal run thing.
Yeah, every state has a state level militia.
That's what I thought. In modern times, the militia is. So, do you mean the people?
No. The National Guard is not the militia.
So, what do we call? So, is the militia our military? What do we mean by militia?
Technically speaking, there is no modern militia. There is no
official
modern militia.
That is not true.
I'd like to hear this actually.
The Federal Militia Act authorizes every single state, all 50 states, to maintain a militia separate from the National Guard.
I didn't know this.
Texas has its own militia.
Learning now.
The Texas State Guard or some fucking nonsense. They're the yahoos down on the border running this stupid Operation Lone Star that puts all the immigrants on the buses and sends them up to Martha's Vineyard. Those are the fucking human traffickers in the state of Texas. They're under the authority of the governor of the state of Texas. They're not armed. You got to bring your own gun, but they're a quasi-military in the state of Texas, and every other state has something similar to it. It's authorized it's authorized in federal statute and organized under state statute.
By federal statute, he means the Constitution.
No, I mean statute, like laws.
U.S. technically the Constitution, though.
No, it's not. There's nowhere in the Constitution does it talk about organizing the U.S. military under.
I thought you were talking about militias.
Yeah, but this is part of the Militias Act in the U.S. Code that separates out the National Guard under the federal authority and the state militias under the state authority. And it was passed, I think, in the 1950s.
Oh, honestly, I never knew this.
Somewhere back then.
I didn't either.
Thank you for telling me. I learned something new.
I researched this when I was looking at after the militia episode when I was asking the question of what is a militia, because we talked about this, and I was like, there's fucking definitions in our U.S. in our U.S. statutes.
Yes, you're right.
Definitions of what militias
are and what I never know that up.
Because it's not just a bunch of fucking deer hunters with a 6-pack of Natty Light and camo sitting out.
That's what most modern militias technically are.
But that's not a legal militia. You and your hunting buddies is not a militia. An actual militia is organized under the state, and there's chain of command and all the shit.
Humble. At some point, I'd like to sit and talk with you about Ruby Ridge. Not right now. At some point, I would love to talk to you
That
about
worked out
Ruby
really
Ridge.
good.
No,
I
I'd
don't
love
really
to
know
talk
much
to you
about
about.
that.
I'd love to talk to you about that. Just not right
Yeah,
now.
the
At
FBI
some
in that
point,
era
because that
was,
would be a great conversation. I think
yeah,
that'd
the
be a great
FBI in that era was a bunch of fucking crazies. The FBI
You
in
know
the
what
80s,
else is
that's
interesting?
why we don't have an ATF director. That whole 1990s era of ATF cavalierly just like burning down and going to seize guns because you've got a catch of weapons and
killing children,
burning down the. I mean,
Waco.
yeah, Waco. They're painted as the bad, but they were like put in a position where they did what they. I mean, they felt like they did what they had to do.
Yeah.
Because they were enforcing the law, and that's why we don't have an ATF director because of that.
The entire Ruby Ridge and Waco are the reason why we don't do that kind of shit anymore.
Yeah, there's consequences to that kind of regulation.
And there's a reason that fucking far right extremists use both of those as reasons to just not like the federal government.
Or there's people like Clive Bundy. Remember him?
Uh-huh.
Clive Bundy.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions about that, and I've actually, and my opinions might not be the direction that you think they are, but
he's the definition of a welfare queen.
Well,
hi Bob.
He's a what you call a what's the word we've been using? It's a he made up a situation to be a victim. He was a professional victim.
Yeah.
You mean Clive Bundy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Clive and Bundy or whatever the fuck his name is.
You know what?
He
cried about being persecuted.
He made up a situation and then created the persecution for it. He the stuff he was trying to fight for. Yes, that makes sense that he's trying to fight for that. But the way he was doing it was a fucking terrible way to fucking do it.
We agree. We finally all agree on something.
I mean, it's like walking into a police station and setting off a stink bomb and then being upset because they're arresting you for setting off a stink bomb in the police station.
Kind of similar, yes.
It's just a stink bomb. It's not nobody's gonna get hurt. And they're like, you're going to jail. Like, that's all for just
yeah, no, I agreed.
or speeding through a red light camera, then getting pissed off because you got a red light ticket. Like that.
Well, you know the camera's there. You're gonna do it, and then you're gonna fucking play victim.
Or driving past a cop, pulling them off, and then refusing to give your license and complaining because you're going to jail.
Like Clive Bundy or whatever the fuck his name is. He was trying to compare him. He was trying to compare himself to fucking Ruby Ridge and all those other guys. No, those guys actually were persecuted, and the fucking federal government set him the fuck up. He may have gone to the church where the fucking white supremacist went, but he was just looking for a church. And then they were like, hey, one of their agents was like, hey, fucking saw these off for me, saw these off for me, and then we'll be fine. We'll pay you money for it. And they fucking set him up.
Yeah, Ruby Ridge was pretty a setup gig. Waco
I have no idea what that is.
Ruby Ridge was set up. Waco was kind of a setup, but also not really. Those guys were crazy.
Those guys were crazy. They were apocalyptic nuts.
Yeah, but also the women and children shouldn't have been killed.
They didn't have a choice. They're like, David Koresh was going to kill them.
Yeah, David Koresh was fucking insane.
Because David Koresh was taking them all down with him, and the feds could have been more patient. It ended badly, but it ended exactly the way David Koresh wanted it to. That's how he wanted it to go.
I think is David Koresh still alive?
No, he's quite dead.
I remember watching a thing, but I don't remember if he made it through it or not.
No, he took a bullet to the head. He took his own life. He killed himself before the flames got him.
He took the Hitler way out.
Yeah, he fucking pushed out entirely. But it ended the way he wanted it to end. And
the government being the bad guy.
Yeah, and the government made themselves into the bad guy.
So
They could have been more patient, but they were getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed.
The problem with Waco is it's not mutually exclusive. David Koresh is the bad guy, and the government can be the bad guy at the same time. They both did the wrong thing, although David Koresh didn't do the wrong thing by wanting to have guns.
Did he?
He did break the law, yes.
There you go. And when ordered to comply, he refused to comply, and he created.
But the U.S. government didn't need to get all militant on him.
No, and that was one of the major issues when this is studied in the future. If we're honest about studying it in the future, it's going to say these were the critical mistakes the FBI made, and why this scenario was going to end this way. They didn't realize they were facing an apocalyptic nut. And he was more than willing to oblige, and the federal government.
He kept talking about
this. Shaking the sabers, and Koresh was like, "Okay, this is how it's going to go."
Well, yeah, he kept talking about the SEALs, the different SEALs.
Yeah,
and then they gave him a fucking platform to fucking talk about that shit. And then he's like, the fifth SEAL or whatever is going to be the man coming in. I don't remember exactly what it is, but he fucking called them out. And they did exactly what he said.
Exactly. He said,
and
that was the thing. They thought he was bluffing. And it's like when you go into a fight with a guy and he's like, hit me. And you hit him, and you're like, now you're the bad guy for hitting the cripple because the cripple was like telling you to fucking hit him.
The problem with Waco though is the U.S. government lies about it. They lie. They wholeheartedly lie about how much fucking what they did in that entire scenario. But Koresh is also still fucking one of the people that is liable with all of that. He deserves just as much credit as the U.S. government for killing all of his children. You're right.
They killed the boy.
Can I address Post Kebab, please?
All right, what's Bob talking about? I'm
talking about Cliven Bundy.
No. I need to address him on two particular comments here. He goes,
can you address all of his comments at some point then?
No, I just have two because one was directed at me and one I've thought about. He goes, Constitution is dead document. It needs no revisions. It's very clear.
He's not wrong.
I disagree because we made amendments to the Constitution. And although for many decades we haven't made a new amendment to the Constitution, I see no reason why we can't do that if we really wanted to.
Sunflower.
Very hard to accomplish.
There's a reason why.
Yes.
Sunflower.
I still think it's a living document.
No, the Constitution is a dead document. That's why we make amendments to it, so we can amend things as they come up.
To me, it's a living document. I don't consider it a dead document.
Then you're wrong.
Because we can make amendments to it, it is a living document.
Exactly.
It's being
the only living part of
by a specific group of people that don't want it to function.
The only living part of the document is the amendments. Then.
Yeah, that's
what makes it a living document. Is our point.
If it was a dead document, the only way we could make it better would be to replace it with an entirely new document.
Well, that's the other thing, though, is a lot of people want to reinterpret a bunch of the other parts of the Constitution and whatnot.
But we're so far.
And then when they say, hold on, Sunflowers, when they say it's a living document, they can reinterpret what's happening in all of it, including the amendments. They can reinterpret all of that. And that's not how that's supposed to work. You're supposed to interpret it. You're supposed to interpret it the way that the founders and the framers made it at the time.
That's also a modern interpretation of how the Constitution works.
But if we're going to go with your scenario, then we're going to have to examine the Supreme Court Because the Supreme Court makes modern interpretations of these laws to apply to our lives
Well, that's
now.
the problem is when people are put into the Supreme Court, they're supposed to interpret it the way that it's supposed to be interpreted.
So you're
with the
saying,
Constitution.
That's modern
so your
interpretation.
opinion is we need to go to the traditional meaning of the Constitution always?
Yes, always.
Okay, just for clarification.
Always.
That's false.
And I don't think that's what me and Humble
That's my opinion. You can say false, but that's my opinion.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, that's your opinion, but it's an opinion that doesn't that's a modern interpretation of how the constitutional law and constitutional history works. It's a modern interpretation that has existed only in the last 40 or 50 years.
Do you know what circular logic is?
I think that Reagan,
Yes, I know what
the
circular
Reagan era
logic is.
inspired that idea.
That's exactly what you just proposed.
No.
Is circular logic.
No, I'm telling you that the idea that the original interpretation is the only true interpretation is something that has only existed in the last 40 or 50 years.
I'm going to tell you that that's wrong.
Let's be real, Ike. Let's be real, Ike. How
It's always been around since 1980.
Ike, how can we keep the Constitution? How can those laws apply the same today? Even if we still have a well-regulated militia and we keep all our guns, we still have to think differently because the type of weapons they had back then are not the same as today, or how we feel societal wise about certain things. You know, like women probably, if we never amended the Constitution, women, wouldn't women nowadays after feminism say, why can't we have the right to vote? I mean, eventually at some point things change.
I want to ask a dumb question.
If it wasn't for sexist laws that were anachronisms, we wouldn't have ever had to amend the Constitution.
I'm going to ask a dumb question here.
That's fair.
I like that. I like that. Were the framers of the Constitution wrong for not letting women being allowed to vote?
Yes, they were wrong. Because my opinion of what happens in this country is just as important as Joe's and yours. Just because you're a male doesn't mean that I shouldn't have a say.
I agree.
The framers of the Constitution didn't prohibit women from voting.
Hold on. You're right, Humble, but also Sunflower, I agree. I just wanted to ask the question because I thought it was funny.
Yeah. It's the same thing with
I'm a dick when it comes to this.
I mean, the question's wrong.
You're right.
The framers didn't prevent the women from voting in the Constitution.
They also set it up to remove slavery.
They did. And if it weren't for laws on the books in the states, slavery would have passed into the
it literally would have been in the Constitution initially because people wanted to put that in, but they needed to get the 13 original colonies. They wanted all 13 of them on board. That's the only reason they didn't get rid of slavery right away.
Okay. Yep. And I also heard that the amount of amendments we know in the Constitution, they actually had a whole bunch more that they wanted to put in.
The cool thing about the amendments is we have one amendment. I know for a fact there's one amendment, and then there's a second amendment that negates it. It's called prohibition.
Yep, they changed their mind.
Fucking Humble knows about that one.
They passed an amendment, changed their mind. The first time ever an amendment was passed to prevent a sale and use and transportation of something.
Right. Can I? And I would like to address.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I want to talk to Humble about what was I gonna say about the I want to talk to Humble about prohibition when I get back.
Okay, when you come back.
Protect a woman's right to vote, and they fuck up our alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. that was a joke. That was a joke. As soon as women get the right to vote, we outlaw alcohol.
Like the guys were like, "What the fuck? Where are we supposed to go now?"
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Susan B. Anthony. Thank you so much.
All right, Ike, I'll give you that. You're not wrong.
No, I was making a joke.
I know, but in
like
a way,
I'm a troll.
If you think about it.
If everybody that knows me is I'm a troll. When it comes to like talking to people, Like, I'll say things just to fucking aggravate them on purpose.
But you don't aggravate me.
That's my job. That's my job when it comes down to things. And I love doing that because it specifically causes good conversations a lot of the time.
May I address Post Kebab's other comment when you're done?
All right, cool. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I'll be right back because I want to talk to Humble about prohibition because I got some fun stories.
Okay, but do you mind if I address
Go ahead.
Post Kebab? Okay, I don't know where you get this idea, but he calls me son. So he goes, son has no clue what the Bill of Rights is. Why you think that is a mystery? Because there are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. And I didn't even have to Google that. I learned that in school.
And
so why do you think I don't is a mystery?
That's why I said Bob was half right on his point about the Fourth Amendment and that the framers didn't make any mistakes with the Constitution because they made mistakes with the Constitution. That's why we needed amendments.
Do you agree with
the Bill of Rights? I mean, that's why we had like subsequent, like, all kinds of.
Okay. Remember, I was asking about how we define regulated militia today. Post Kebab posted this. Well-regulated militia means states provide us with tanks, planes, cannons, ships.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Do you agree with that?
No, that's wrong. That's entirely wrong. We have a well-regulated militia in the state of Texas, and the state of Texas does not provide any armaments or weapons.
So what exactly do they use for their... So this militia you were talking about in your example, what exactly do they use for weapons? Just their own personal arsenal?
Yeah, they bring their own. In fact, they're told. I've spoken with a recruiter several times. They're told that they can bring their own weapons, but they're not required to. And that they ask them not to carry their weapons in public. Okay,
so if they don't bring their weapons, then what?
They bring their weapons.
If they don't bring, because you said they're not required to bring their weapons. If they don't bring their weapons, the person in charge gives them?
No.
They just don't use them.
They just don't have them because they're not generally used in a combat role. Like what they're doing with Operation Lone Star. I don't quite
understand how this works. I don't get the whole concept of this.
Well, they're used as a support network and a support system. So they're oftentimes mobilized after natural disasters on a state. This was the group of people that was mobilized here in the state of Texas to watch the National Guard under when Obama was president, to make sure that the National Guard, when they were doing their training maneuvers or whatever, to make sure that the National Guard didn't take over Texas because Greg Abbott or Rick Perry are a bunch of fucking morons.
So are they like spies?
No,
make sure they're doing their job.
They're just a support. They're just intended to be support for the real militia, the National Guard forces here in the state. They're intended to be logistical support and to help fill in those gaps, like in natural disasters, to help rescue people, to help distribute supplies, to help the real people who are doing real work, and to do that sort of stuff. They're you can look them up. Texas State Guard. They have several operations that are active.
Okay, I'll look them up because
the biggest one right now is Operation Lone Star, which is their human trafficking operation to take immigrants and move them all across the country.
You mean like how they moved them to Illinois and to Martha's Vineyard?
Yeah, that's Operation Lone Star, sending people, taking them away from the services at the border that they need and sending them elsewhere in the country where they don't have the services available. There's that one. That's the biggest ongoing operation. There's they get activated after natural disasters. They get activated in preparation of other special operations. That's the biggest thing. If you contact a recruiter today, they're gonna put you in contact with a brigade that's going to go down to the border with Operation Lone Star.
And they're employed by the government, the state of Texas?
Nope, they're volunteers. You get a per diem.
Oh.
You get a per diem a per diem in order to eat while you're on.
Well, who gives them that money?
It's that comes from the state, but you're not employed by the state. They're just giving you like $20 a day to eat. That's it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Like I said, this is all new to me.
Can I I came back. I'm back now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask a question about prohibition?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sunflowers. You're in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Whereabouts in Illinois are you? Like northern or southern Illinois?
I'm in the western part of the state. So if I drove on the highway, maybe 25 minutes from Chicago.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. So my question to you is, do you know who the Shelton Gang is?
I've heard of them.
You've heard of them. Was it from me, or have you heard of them from other people?
Somewhere in my life, I've heard this name before. Where, I cannot tell you at this moment in time.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So Humble might find this interesting. So during Prohibition, my family was involved in rum running in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Southern Illinois.
I read about them.
Southern Illinois.
Is that your family name, the name you just mentioned?
The Shelton Gang. So my great-grandmother, her brothers were the Shelton brothers. The guys that were the rum runners or the people running liquor in Southern Illinois.
Oh, you might have mentioned this.
And so my grandfather is the son of one of the son of one of the daughters of one of the Shelton brothers. So my great grandmother was the daughter of one of the Shelton brothers. And he didn't want to have anything to do with the family business, so they bought him a store in Cedar Woolley, Washington. He ran it until it ran out of money. They bought him another one, and then he ran that until it ran out of money as well. But I am a direct descendant of the Shelton Gang, who were rum runners in Southern Illinois.
Wow.
Peoria was one of the main places.
I know where that is. That's where Bradley University is.
And there was another rival gang called the Burger Gang. And oh my God, this is a really interesting like set of information here. So the
Burger
Sheltons
always fought with the Chick-fil-A gang. Taco gang every once in a while. The Sheltons were one of the first people to do a flyover and dropping an incendiary bomb on their rival gang. It was the first time that a bomb was dropped on America, like mainland America ever, as far as I know. So it's funny. So barnstormers were a thing at the time because it was pre-World War II, and barnstormers was a guy that was in World War I. It was a pilot, and so they paid this guy. They traded him a car to allow them to come up in his biplane and drop bombs on their rival gang's territory. And the pilot got arrested because it was a stolen car. And he spent like a year and a half in jail for that.
Wow.
I'm laughing about it, but it's kind of terrible.
The stolen car that they gave him.
Yeah. He spent time in jail because it was a stolen car. Well, the thing is also the Shelton Gang, the people within the areas that they worked in, they allowed them to keep doing that because they kept running the KKK out. they were killing KKK members in this area. And everybody's like, if you keep giving us money first off, and you keep getting the KKK out of here, we're just gonna ignore the shit that you're doing. It's so like the first time it was anti-KKK, and so it was like Southern Illinois. It was like it's weird. It's fucking fucking weird.
That is the definition of weird.
Yeah.
Like we'll let you degenerates hang around as long as you keep those degenerates out.
Exactly. And
so wait a minute.
Like they kept giving kickbacks to the local government as well. So they had whorehouses, they had fucking like they were rum running, they had gambling casinos and shit, and they kept giving the local government money, but they were fucking like just keeping the KKK out of that shit.
Oh, so how exactly are you related to them again?
My great grandmother was the daughter of one of the Shelton brothers.
So one of the Shelton was your great grandfather.
Was my great grandfather was one of the Shelton brothers. There's 4 Shelton brothers. One of them wasn't involved in the family business, and he moved to Cedar Lake, Washington. And that was my great grandfather.
Wow, wow.
A direct descendant. So my great grandmother, there was somebody that came out and talked about this recently. She was the daughter of one of the Shelton brothers, who was essentially a cousin of my great grandmother. And she has a lot of videos online. I can't remember her name. It was I can't remember her name right now because I'm kind of drunk. But she has a few videos and some books that she's written, and I actually have both of her books, and I've watched all of her videos. And I've been trying to get in contact with her. She stopped doing any kind of things after COVID hit, and I can't get in contact with her, and I'm kind of pissed off about it.
But that's
the last time I was in Illinois, I had a chance to go to Peoria, the Peoria Museum, but I was there on Sunday, and they're closed on Sunday, and I'm pissed off that I wasn't able to stop by.
Oh, you'll have to come back.
Well, I'm gonna come back because I want to see Bob. So, like, also,
you can visit me.
When I come back, like you, me, and Bob, and everybody should just go to the Peoria Museum, or I'll just go there by myself. Then I'll come visit you and Bob, and it'll be fine.
That'll work.
But Humble, I'm working with other people, and I think it'd be fun to create Shelton Gang liquor.
Mike could figure something out.
Because I would like to figure out the legality of me using that name.
You'd probably need like the family permission to put their name on something.
Well, it's technically my name.
Only if it's trademarked. Only if it's.
It's not trademarked yet, as far as I know.
I don't see any reason I couldn't do it. The family might get mad that you're using.
That's what I'm saying.
Like their image, but I don't think there's anything they could do about it.
I don't think they could, because it's like so my grandfather's last name was Lewis, which is my last name, and my grandfather's mother's last name was Shelton. So I am two generations away from the Shelton name.
You see, there's one of the founding fathers of Humble was Charles H. Bender, but I couldn't do Bender Bourbon.
Oh, that'd be a great fucking name for a bourbon.
I mean, it'd be a great name, but you can't sell Bender Bourbon, not at a premium. Bender Bourbon is like cheap shit. That's like $14 stuff.
Fair.
You get a plastic bottle.
But just the whole backstory.
But I could totally use his name if I wanted to.
My whole thing is the backstory about them being rum runners during Prohibition. could sell fucking alcohol.
Maybe. Might could.
I think so.
I wonder.
Might could. Any hoodles.
Like if I wanted to make my own still, if I made my own still, I'd fucking just make my own fucking bourbon. And
But you see, I mean, I can't envision there being a problem with using the name. The family might get mad and say cease and desist, but there's nothing that they can.
Well, the family could get mad, but then the best part that could come out of that is the family come out of the woodworks to talk to me.
Yeah, free publicity.
Because at this point, I've been trying to get in contact with them. The best thing to come out of it is they'd be like, "Hey, let's talk about this." I'm like, "Yeah, let's talk."
And trying to.
In my opinion, yeah, let's talk about this.
Huh.
It might be a good social engineering thing to get them to fucking talk to me.
Just might. You're right. Huh. Interesting idea. Interesting thought.
Also, I'm going to say this before I go. The Restream, like, this is actually a fucking great fucking setup. Holy shit.
It's pretty, isn't it? It's really pretty. It's very attractive.
I like doing the way I do things with whatever the fuck it's called, doesn't matter. But Restream, holy shit, this is actually not that bad.
See, I told you.
And from my point of
bad
view,
at all.
I'm looking at chat over here on my left.
Yeah,
I see that up here above me. 3 hours. We've got 3 pairs of eyeballs on us.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see that part, but
and I've got y'all, and I can move you around if I wanted to. I can
put me up. Oh yes.
And I like that the comment. The last comment is the one you see at the top, so you don't have to scroll.
I like this. This is actually like when you were first talking about wanting to do Restream. Like, I don't know about Restream. I've used Restream before, and I'm like what they had before was fucking trash. But holy shit, this is actually not that bad. Or you're not paying for this. You're using the free version. Shit, yeah.
And
you're also frozen, by the way.
I'm frozen right there. I'm back.
Okay.
I want to point out about Restream is what I told Humble, is that when I'm on StreamYard and I have an Android phone, in the past I've had a lot of problems. My voice would go weird. It's harder to navigate. But for some reason, Restream, it just seems to work well with my phone, and I find it a better version of StreamYard.
Well, I'm just gonna say this, like, Humble, you actually humbled me with Restream, because Restream, this is fucking amazing. So, especially since the way we're working right now is with the free version.
Yeah,
the free version. This is better than StreamYard's free version.
What's even better about the free version here than StreamYard? No limit. StreamYard has a 20-hour limit on their free version. This is unlimited.
Wow.
Yep.
I haven't paid for
their cheap version is $16 a month versus StreamYard's $25.
Shit. I paid like $150 for a year of StreamYard, by the way.
Yeah, I mean that's what
Humble.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Besides the name Restream being on here, I assume if you bought a subscription, that would go away. What are some other
Honestly, I think you may have sold me. Like once our subscription for StreamYard runs out, I'm thinking about getting Restream.
Yeah, because what's the difference between the free and the next tier?
So the upgraded features are overlays, videos, all the stuff that you can put in, like with StreamYard that you can put in here.
Gotcha.
My logo up in the corner. I think you can have up to 10 people on the free version, only 6 on the pay version. The minimum pay version 10. Your quality goes from 720 to 1080. You can record and store your videos.
Wait, hold on. Restream up when you get the lowest version of Restream paid, it's 1080.
I think so.
Because fucking what we're
Let me
doing
look
on
real quick.
fucking.
Hold on. Record stream up to 6 hours. You have a two-person team. You unlock Facebook pages, groups, and custom RTMP settings. Stream up to 5 channels, and you have no watermark. On the Plus, that's $16 a month, $190 a year. For the $41 a month, $490 a year. All the standard Plus stuff, restream up to 8 channels. That's where you get the 1080 in studio on the Plus plan, $40 a month. That's 1080.
That's way more than I'm
and
paying
stream
right now.
videos to 1 hour, 2 gig per file. Record streams up to 10 hours. So I can record streams of 6 hours for the cheap one, 10 hours for the professional one, and 4-person teams. And then the premium is $83 a month.
So this seems to be far superior than StreamYard.
I don't know about that. There's
I mean, the way it looks.
pluses and bonuses on both, but Restream seems to be pretty decent.
What I mean is the way it looks. To me, it seems far superior. The setup.
So, you were saying that the 1080p is $80 a month?
$40 a month.
$40 a month.
41 to be exact. $490 a year.
I don't know if I can give up what I'm using right now to get this. But once what I have is done, this might be a good option.
I mean, I'm not getting a commission either way. I don't care.
I'm just saying, if you end up buying this and you can get a commission from me, just let me know.
I'll refer
Seriously.
a friend. I'll refer a friend if I do it. I'll sure.
Definitely. Like if I had a choice, like this is not a bad option. And I'll look into both of them. But if I end up getting this and I can give you a bonus for it, just let me know.
Probably
I
like
this
$5 friends and family referral, something like that. Let me look and see.
$5. Yeah, it's probably just gonna be like $5. You're right.
Program.
Not gonna be worth
referral
it for
program. Automate referral invites. No. Plans and pricing, referral program. How do referrals work? To invite your friends, track your referrals and upgrades. Yeah, there's some kind. They do have some kind of referral program.
There's something there.
Yeah,
but this is cool. I like this.
If you want to put my email address in, seriouslycast@gmail.com.
Everybody wins. You get a $10 restream credit when your friend.
What's a restream credit? What does that mean? Is like you get $10 towards your fucking.
It goes on your account. You get a $10. You get a $10 credit on your account, so it'll pay for 2/3 of a month on the.
I'm definitely going to look into this a little bit more, though. But this is actually still not that bad.
I mean, for a basic, it's a better basic streaming package than StreamYard does. I just like the interface.
My brother and I are actually working on potentially making a StreamYard specific plugin for OBS that works like StreamYard, where you just give them a URL and it works like StreamYard just with OBS, and you don't have to pay a subscription fee. And we're gonna try to use whatever we can find to make it work that's also open source. And so I'm trying to design my own setup to work similar to all of this.
Yeah.
And then make it available for free. We'll take donations or whatever if anybody wants to give it to us. But I'm trying to develop my own fucking setup that works like all of this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
See, one of the other cool things about Restream, what I used to use Restream for when I first started, was that you can go from OBS and output to Restream, and it'll send it to three different channels for free.
Well, OBS, you can also do that as well. There's the different things within OBS to stream to like 3 different channels.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
That's what I do on my podcast. Is I use we use StreamYard, and then I just capture the StreamYard, and then I use OBS, and then put it to the 2 channels. But we still have access to all the chats, so we can put them on top of it and
Right.
put it on. And
And
also,
I
we can
tried doing that with StreamYard, but my graphics processor isn't good enough.
Oh yeah, like you probably already know, I have a fucking beast computer running my fucking stream. unless I'm out in the fucking blacksmith shop, I'm using my laptop. My laptop fucking blows dicks.
Mm.
I'm amazed that me running OBS on that laptop worked tonight, because there's been times where that just did not work ever at all.
Huh.
And it worked tonight, and I'm
Maybe
surprised.
maybe Restream is better for what you do. Then.
Well, no. If I really wanted to, I could have just used not Restream, but the other company. Doesn't matter. I don't remember the name. It doesn't matter. But I was using OBS, and because I don't have a good graphics processor, I can't use more than one video input.
Oh,
If I had more than one video input, my fucking processor would be fucking chugging, and it wouldn't work. So it's because I had one camera running everything, and then I didn't have anything like super taxing on top of that. It worked.
Dig it.
If I really wanted to, like what you were doing today, Humble, like you had 2 cameras running. If I really wanted to do that, I've been trying to set that up with my laptop so I could have like a wide angle and then a close up on what I was doing on the fucking anvil, have a close up on the anvil. I've tried to do that, and it just doesn't work because my graphics just won't let it happen. You just gotta work. You gotta work with what limitations you have, and so I kind of just made it work.
What now? When we were talking earlier,
yeah, exactly.
We noticed that because Humble put himself on the second one, he got rid of the other one, and the second one he couldn't. His audio wasn't coming through. So we were wondering, on both cameras at the same time, can audio come through both of them? The Humbles? Do you know?
The voice meter.
Doesn't look like it.
Do you know what voice meter is?
I have no idea.
Humble,
Nope.
do you know what voice meter? Do you know what voice meter is? Look into voice meter, because you can set it up so that voice meter can have multiple inputs, and then one of the two options that you have here could be the only audio input, but you can have both video outputs. Look up voice meter and watch some videos on how to set it up. Because if you want, I can help you set it up. But voice meter, look up voice meter. It's gonna be your saving grace when it comes to two different video options. I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
You're pretty good at this tech stuff.
Voice.
To
do some research. Look into voice meter and what it does, please, because that's what I'm going to suggest you do. I know you're laughing. Are you laughing at me, or just at the fact it's not working anymore?
Wait a minute.
I don't know anymore. All I know is I'm buying one of his fucking bottles of alcohol. I'm going to buy one of his bottles of alcohol next week. I'm buying one of those bottles that he just fucking bottled.
All right. According to our buddy Bob, He goes,
Hey!
he said, live OBS has almost 60-second delay, which doesn't, he means doesn't do well in streams. StreamYard is better. It's less than 6 seconds. StreamYard is better for streams.
Yeah. Humble.
Yeah.
So you're asking about switching video things and still being able to keep one audio stream.
Yeah, what I was saying is I'm not going to be able to do both of them. I'm not going to be able to run two things. This computer won't be able to do that.
All right, okay. I was gonna say Voicemeeter because audio is different than video.
Yeah,
Voicemeter might be.
I'm not gonna be able to run another program in the background. I'm just not gonna be able to do it.
Actually, I think you might be able to because audio programs take less. Like the only way. So no, I know you're laughing. And saying I might be wrong, but audio programs take a lot less information. So the only thing I can say.
Oh, hi, Dustin.
Dustin, hey.
Nice to see you.
I know it probably takes less less graphics processing, but I just don't think my computer can do it.
All right, Humble.
It might work, but it might just be a shit show.
So at some point, let's get together and let's try it out. Like I would be 100% willing to help you set that up. So let's set that up at some point, and maybe you can make it work.
Okay, we'll see.
Because I want you to succeed in doing a lot of fun things, and I would love to help you set something cool up to make it work.
I appreciate
Dustin,
what are you drinking?
Okay, I'll be back.
Well, I knew I couldn't drink any of the big brands, so I got something a little less.
Go to bed. Good night,
Brad.
son.
This is 2XO Phoenix Blend.
Phoenix Blend. Hang on, let me make it bigger. Hit the make it bigger button. Okay.
Okay, what is that?
I know it looks like a freaking wine bottle, but this is a 2XO. It's a blend from Dixon Dedman, who he came to fame through the Kentucky Owl brand, which they sold off to Scully. So he and then he left because they were gouging people on prices. Wow. So he created a new brand so he could be the one gouging people with his $100.
Smart move.
But yeah, so this is a double oaked whiskey, which has a beautiful nose. It smells like $100 whiskey, and it does not taste like $100 whiskey. So as you can see, it's down to the end because I'm really just trying to get rid of it.
So it's not $100 whiskey, but it also doesn't taste like $100 whiskey.
You know, if this was $50-$60, I think it'd be perfectly fine. You know, they double oaked it, so it probably cost them a little bit more.
Wait,
it's bottled.
How much did you say it cost you then?
Well, this was $100. This cost $100.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
There's nothing more disappointing than paying $100 for whiskey that tastes like a good $50 bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, no, I'll give him this. It's bottled at 52%, so that's a little more price than if it was lower. It's double barreled. That costs more money. And he had to blend it, so he had to source.
Barrels are expensive.
Yeah, he had to source the bourbon. He didn't. It's not his own bourbon. And then he had to blend it. There's cost that goes into that. So if this had been $75, I'd have said, you know what, it's not worth it. But hey, you know what, I understand.
Yeah.
So like you're saying you would pay $50, $60 for that.
$50-$60, I think it'd be fine. The other thing I noticed is that I can't blend it with anything. I've tried like mixing it with some stuff, and it just doesn't.
That doesn't if you're gonna buy an expensive bottle of whiskey, you usually don't want to mix it with things.
No, but if you can save it by making it into like a really good mixed drink, then hey,
fair enough. Yeah,
it's not bad. It's just like the finish on it's just not good.
It's not good.
Yeah, I bought a bottle of whiskey that was named after a hero of the Texas Revolution.
That's great.
And it's the worst goddamn stuff I've ever had in my person ever. And it was even more disappointing because it was Sam Houston whiskey, and it comes out of like Wisconsin.
Which Sam Houston did you get?
Which Sammy? I don't know which one it was, but it tasted like shit.
Really?
It tasted so bad, I didn't even want to pour it down the sink because I like my sink.
Wow.
I didn't think that would be fair to the drain.
No, I mean, I've got a 14 and I've got a 15-year-old Sam Houston that were like released. I mean, they do small batch releases, so it's like 2-3 barrels that they blend. So I do know that you could have variation batch to batch.
But I mean, my
had a couple that were
incinerator does good work. It does good work in cutting up like stuff that I send down the drain. I didn't want to punish it with this whiskey. It was just not fair. So
well, it wasn't one of the it
wasn't
like $150 bottle, was it?
No, it was like $25.
Oh, okay. I haven't had those. The ones I have were like $150 bottles, and they're delicious.
Yeah, it was just raw gut garbage. So,
but Humble,
I don't even like them.
Humble, Dustin, Sunflowers, Bob, whoever's watching,
tapping out.
I gotta go because I have to be up at like 6 a.m. It's like 11 now.
Honestly,
and I still need to drink a little bit more, but I have movies I need to watch, and so like it was a pleasure hanging out with all of you. Dustin, it was a pleasure just hanging out with you for like the last like couple seconds that I have. Everybody, have a good night.
Good night.
Cheers.
1-1.
Oh,
so cheers. I'm at 500.
Have fun at jury duty.
I'm almost at 10 hours right now for this last stream. So I got to get about 30 more minutes of watch time in on this stream, and then I can wrap it up.
All right, Humble. I'll pull the stream up and fucking just watch. Just have it
go to bed.
I'll have it playing though. I'll have your stream playing.
All
just,
right,
just to help you out. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
And I don't need that last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes to get me 10 hours. So I'm going to take this to 1 o'clock, and then we're gonna wrap up and go to because I'm gonna wrap up and go to bed. I don't know if I want to spend the night here tonight.
No, do it. Spend the night.
I ought to, shouldn't I? I've got a cot. I've got my blanket. I've got a heater. I could
just go over to the CrossFit gym. Go over to the CrossFit gym, work out real quick. Have some fun.
They've got a shower. I go over there and shower in the morning.
There you go.
And you have a bathroom.
Yeah, though. Well, I got all the woods around me. But that would get me up in the morning. I would be here. Actually, I don't know, because when I spent the night in the fireworks stand, I had a nice cozy bed that I had my bed roll and my sleeping bag and my blankets, and I was nice and cozy. I didn't wake up until 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't wake up at the crack of dawn. I woke up late every day. So I don't know. I might not wake up too terribly early.
Seriously, just do it.
I bet you didn't have access to. You probably didn't get any light coming in that fireworks stand, did you?
No, it was extremely dark. It was very dark.
That's great for sleeping, man.
Yeah,
the distillery.
Really I mean, there was light that would come through the, because they had the flaps that would come down. So there was light that would come through there, but on the coldest night, because that was like the coldest week of the year, that last week of December. On the coldest night, what I did is, all the fireworks come in cardboard boxes. So I literally built like a little hut inside the. This is ridiculous. I built a little hut out of the cardboard boxes inside the fireworks stand. So I had like a little hut inside of the box. So I just kind of shimmied in there and
well, why wouldn't you?
I know. I mean, like it obviously that homeless people do it. It makes sense. But I ran the heater inside there for like an hour and a half to get it nice and hot, and then went outside, turned off the generator, opened up my little slot, slid in there, cozied myself down. That was like the warmest night of the whole week because I was in that box and the heater was running. I was like a toasted bun. It was nice.
When you're a little kid, man, you go around building yourself little forts. Then you get bigger and you're like, well, crap, it's hard to build a fort my size.
Yeah.
If you go into a place you're going to build a fort. Like, people when they think growing up means we get more mature. No, it just means we got bigger. We can't do the same stuff we did as little kids.
You can't dig a hole in the backyard and climb into it because you got to dig a hole that's like 6 times the size it used to be.
Yeah, we can't jump on the bed because we break the bed.
Yeah, you break the bed. You can't do the floor is lava and do a backflip onto the couch because you break the couch. And you bought that couch. You don't want to break the couch.
Yeah. I mean, I was remember as a kid, I'd climb on top of the entertainment center and belly flop onto the couch, man.
Yeah.
If I did that today, I'd die.
Take all the pillows off the couch, lay them on the ground. A half gainer and a double backflip onto the ground, and no way I can do that now.
Yeah, now one of my sisters did bounce off of the couch when she did it, which was hilarious. And then I had to hear about it. What are you all doing? Perfectly safe, Mom. Just this one's incompetent.
Nobody else got hurt, just the dumb one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if
Well,
you don't know how to
she was
balance,
smarter before she landed on her head, but
I mean, what kind of moron lets themselves just bounce right off?
I know, right?
Didn't she know she needed to stop?
Kids.
I can't work with this incompetence, Mom. How did you produce this lesser child?
Oh man. So what you been up to?
I just got back from the gym actually, and then Whiskey Crusaders. They were doing.
What time is it? It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I go around midnight.
All right, makes sense. Yes, nobody's there.
There's nobody there. I got a key that lets me in, so I just go in, work out.
Oh,
there was one person there when I got there. They left about 10 minutes in. That way, my fat ass could work out by himself.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
Trying to become a little bit less of a fat ass.
Well,
so far, I think I've gained muscle and I've gained weight. I don't think I've lost any fat, but hey.
That's the frustrating thing when you first start working out and you start your metabolism hasn't picked up to lose weight. You start rebuilding that baseline level of muscle underneath your fat, and then the first week you gain 3 pounds. And you're like, well, shit, how'd that happen?
I'm about this is about a month in now. I started just before. I tried starting right when I took vacation in December, and then it went to like negative 20 degrees, and it really wasn't safe to leave the home.
Yeah, that's bad, generally speaking.
And so I was like, well, that was a great time to plan for this whole working out thing. I've got like a week where I just cannot leave home safely.
Yeah, you do. You got to do burpees and planks and jumping jacks and all that shit. Do calisthenics at home.
Yeah, I'm not doing that in my apartment.
Yeah,
I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm a fat dude. The poor person below me already's had my bathtub's leaked 3 times on that person in the 2 years I've been here. God
damn.
I know. Some filter in the tub apparently has gone bad twice. And I'm like, the freaking hell are you getting these filters? I mean, it's like a rubber stopper. What is wrong with you people?
Nice.
And by the way, this is a really expensive apartment.
Fix it already.
Let me put it this way. I don't think I could find a 1-bedroom in this area and pay more without massively increasing the size of the 1-bedroom. My square footage to dollars I'm spending is about as high as I could get.
Wow.
Mind you, my square footage is very low, so it's not that insane.
A little apartment, nice place. My first apartment, shit you not, my first apartment was in a retirement community around the corner from the University of Houston, and I paid $400 a month and split it with a friend. It was literally a square cinder block apartment that was big enough for 2 beds, like a bathroom, study, kitchen, living room. That was it. And it didn't even have walls between the bedroom and the study part of that bedroom. It didn't have a wall between the kitchen and the living room. It was just literally a cinder block with a kitchen and a bathroom back to back, just a cinder block square.
Yeah. Well,
That was a great place because it was full of old people that looked after it.
well, before I moved to Cincinnati, I had this place, and a friend of mine had it before me, and he called me up like when he was moving to New York, and he said, "Hey, you want to take over my apartment? It's $425 a month. You know it's the best location in town." And I'm like, kind of a shitty place, but I'm like, man, $425 a month is like free rent. I mean, that was
Yeah.
that was hundreds less than I was paying for my studio at the time. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. So, but to explain this place, it was in this 100-plus-year-old house with
Okay.
windows that literally were so paper thin. My friend had broken them like 3 times. Just they closed on him. Like I mean, you could flick them and you could probably break one. It was a studio where it was like a room, then a bathroom with like a giant closet. I mean, like ridiculous closet in this bathroom. And then a normal sized kitchen you'd expect in a studio. And then there was just like all this kind of extra space that had no logical purpose in the room, in the kitchen, which is where I ended up putting my like, chest of drawers and stuff. Cause I was just like, well, where else do I put them?
Huh.
Oh man. I mean, in that place, like you'd walk into this house and like I had to go upstairs. My apartment was like on the top half of the building. No lighting in there. That whole walkway was like the door barely even stayed open. That place was just disgusting. But man, $425 a month, and I'll tell you what, the landlord, he actually took care of any problems you had. He took care of them, no problem.
Cool.
And I was literally, I could walk to a liquor store and 30 bars all within about a 5-minute walk. It was beautiful.
You said it was in New York City?
No, this was in Kentucky. My friend moved to New York when he left that place.
Okay, so his place was in Kentucky, and he moved to New York. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so then I decided when COVID hit to go from my like overpriced kind of really shitty apartment that I was in here, but it was much cheaper than this place because well COVID hit and I was working from home, and so I literally more than doubled my rent.
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
You need to have a nice place if you're going to be working from home.
Yeah. I mean, well, so
you're
now
going to be there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my whole like personal like desk right here. I've got a really nice like I mean it's about a 3-foot deep by 5-foot wide desk here that I've got my 40-something inch monitor, my 24-inch monitor. I got a nice little setup here, and then for work I've got in the bedroom I've got a whole another computer table with 3 monitors set up. So I got a nice little nice setup, and then I got room for all my whiskey.
Got to have a room for all your whiskey.
Yeah, well, when you got like 600, 800 bottles, it takes some space up.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I guess so. I don't even have 600, 800 bottles here. I got 280.
Well, you seem like a very Japanese style of manufacturer, a little bit of a just-in-time system.
Right now, that's exactly where we're at. It's not out of any high-minded ideals. It's just because I don't have enough money to have inventory.
Well, but as long as you're selling what you're making, I mean, that's all you can hope for.
Yeah, that's true. But here in 2023, we're going to make a hell of a lot more and sell a hell of a lot.
It's a lot cheaper to start a distillery in Texas than it would be in Kentucky by a shit ton, I would think.
Probably.
Because you can turn your inventory over so much quicker.
It's more expensive than you think. It takes longer than you expect. And I mean,
but in Kentucky, it's 4 years to make a shitty bourbon.
Yeah, but it's a big market in Texas, so there's a lot of opportunity to be able to sell stuff because it's just a big market.
Because then you're able to age your stuff. What, like you're saying, your stuff's flipping in like what 6-9 months? You said.
Yeah, in those little 5-gallon barrels. Yeah, we can do it in 6 or 8 months. I mean,
even in Kentucky when they use those little barrels, I mean they're still usually 2 years, and
yeah,
they could go longer.
I've done it longer, and it just doesn't seem to get a whole lot better.
Those little barrels have limitations. I mean, you really, unfortunately, you need a bigger barrel.
And I recognize I need to do it with bigger barrels to do it for a longer period. The bigger barrels give you a lot more complexity and just a lot more life in the whiskey. But
well, and what you might be able to do is start in a big barrel and then finish in a smaller barrel to kind of meet somewhere in between.
Yeah, I've done that that's what I do with my Special Reserve.
Okay.
It's started in a 50-gallon barrel and finishes in a small barrel to give it that extra flavor.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're willing, now, so now, in order for you to call yourself a bourbon, right, you have to actually age date it, right? Because you can't be straight bourbon without an age statement under 2 years old, right?
Right. You can't. If it's straight bourbon, well, of course, straight bourbon has to be at least 2 years old. But
I'm sorry, under 4 years you have to wait.
under 4 years, it needs an age statement.
Okay, so you can't even call yours straight bourbon then.
No, because we're not making straight bourbon. We're making bourbon, just plain old bourbon whiskey.
Gotcha.
But like I was saying earlier today, like the plan is to divert some of my production into 50-gallon barrels so that I can make straight bourbon. The Boomtown straight bourbon, Texas straight bourbon, and then the craft bourbon whiskey. So I want to differentiate my bourbon, my two bourbons, the craft bourbon and the straight bourbon.
Yeah, no, that'll be cool. I mean, I know Garrison's been able to pull off some decent stuff with those little barrels. They age it a long time though.
Yeah, they're
in the center of hell down there.
The term that's used a lot in Texas is aggressively aged bourbon, and it tastes very aggressively aged.
I mean, they're aging some of their stuff 5 to 7 years in small barrels.
Yeah, and they lose a lot of the volume, obviously.
Well, great bourbons, you lose a lot of volume. I mean, those Pappy Van Winkles are yielding, 15, 20% of what they put in the barrel if they're lucky.
Well, yeah, over the course of 20-something years.
I mean, Old Forester with their Kentucky line, they age those 14 to 15 years, and they've had barrels that return 6 bottles.
Oof.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're heat sinking their warehouse.
Mm.
They're actually doing heat cycling to try to basically speed up the aging process.
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
So their idea, I believe they're saying, is like it's about like 60% quicker, maybe, because they're saying like a 15-year bourbon's like an extra 6 years of aging, so 21 years. So I guess that's 40% more, but whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't want to do math.
I don't either. But I got to real quick. No worries. But yeah, that'll definitely cycle it up, heat it up, or speed it up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but what you guys,
speed it up.
I mean, being in that heat, I mean, that gives you guys such an advantage, though, in like being a startup, though, is you're able to get bourbon out quicker.
Yeah, and that helps. That helps tremendously because, we've had our other stuff in stores for a few years, but this bourbon, coming and going and getting out in the shops, this is what we are here for, and I'm pretty fucking excited.
Check this thing out.
Super duper.
This will be interesting to you. This is New Riff, which is they're about an 8-year-old distillery here in Kentucky. And so when they got into like this stuff, they started off with a pretty kind of standard bourbon mash bill, a little higher on the rye. Mm-hmm. But this was an experiment they did, and this is their like third batch of it. I don't know if it's going to want to pick up because this camera really likes to try to focus on faces for some stupid reason. There we go.
Okay.
So look at that mash bill.
What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grains?
Yeah. So it starts off with 65% corn. Then they use 20% malted oats, 7% pale ale malt, 5% just raw steel cut oats, and then 3% chocolate malt.
Huh. This
tastes, honest to goodness, like oatmeal chocolate chip cookies and bourbon were mixed together.
I've always wondered when you get past. I mean, my palate's not sophisticated by any stretch. I drink stuff and I like it. I drink stuff I don't like it. I'm not going to sit there and be all like, I can really taste the whatever, because I'm not going to be able to taste whatever. But when you get past 4 grains, hell, you get past 3 grains. Does the 4th grain really come out? You get past 5 grains, does the 5th grain really come out? Does the 6th grain really come out? Or is it just like at some point it becomes a mishmash of flavors? I mean, I guess if you can taste the oats and the chocolate combined together, but
I mean, you'd have to side by side, one without, say, pale malt. I can't comment. Was the malted oats? Did they really need to put in raw steel cut oats too? I don't know. But that mash bill was put together because one of the guys they have working there actually came out of Sam Adams, and that's a Sam Adams beer mash.
Yeah, it looks like a beer mash. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they wanted to make a beer and distill it into bourbon, and I'm telling you, it's like chocolate chip oatmeal cookies and a nice bourbon. It tastes like their standard bourbon with chocolate chip cookie notes, and I'm fascinated by it. I mean, I wouldn't go and say, oh, well, it's a refined, sophisticated, well-matured bourbon. It's 4 years old, but they do a pretty good bourbon at 4 years old that is very serviceable, and they added those extra flavors. And if I'm going to pay money for a craft experience, I want something unique about it.
That makes sense.
I mean, because I know I'm not getting ultra premium, ultra aged whiskey. I'm getting a craft whiskey that you've probably had to do something to get a product out sooner. That's cool. Just give me something interesting.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
Exactly.
I guarantee you, being aged in Texas is going to give your whiskey a unique character. I mean, we talk about this a lot in the whiskey world, but terroir is a real thing in whiskey.
Yeah, see, when people talk about that, I personally doubt it. Knowing what goes through the still and what comes out of the column, like
the still and the column
processed, the flavor from the how much of the flavor. Well, first, how much do you even notice when it's cooked? The difference in flavor of different corns.
Oh, big time.
And then when the yeast eat the sugar and turn it into alcohol, like how much of that water, you're coming through with 80% alcohol, 20% water, and then that water gets cut down and cut down and cut down. I mean, how much will really come through?
I mean, if I look at the science and that stuff, which I know just enough about to be dangerous, but not enough to really talk to it and don't listen to my stupid ass on that. But I know just enough to where I would agree that it doesn't make sense. But I've tried, bourbons made with bloody butcher corn, and man, I can pick out those bourbons pretty consistently. I mean, I would say 70% accuracy. If you gave me a bunch of similar bourbons and that you used a corn like bloody butcher corn, I would be like, that's not traditional corn. But I think what I'm more talking about is actually where the barrel's aged.
That makes more difference than anything else. I think.
So to me,
water and location where the barrels are aged. Yeah.
To me, that's the terroir. It's I know people will say, I can just pick up notes of when I drink a Buffalo Trace, it reminds me of being in a Buffalo Trace Rickhouse. When I drink a Heaven Hill, kind of reminds me of the Heaven Hill Rickhouse. Jim Beam can't even separate. You're like, oh my God, that is Jim Beam's Rickhouse. I can smell it.
Yeah. See, when I think of terroir, I think of terroir when it comes to grapes, like French grapes versus Texas grapes. The same grapes taste different.
Yeah.
With different
I think it all goes into it to some degree, but
number 2 yellow dent corn from Indiana versus number 2 yellow dent corn from Iowa. I defy you to find the difference between those two. They taste like corn.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're doing very similar mass-produced corn, it's probably not a big difference. But I remember peated Scotch. You pick up the peat, that ain't subtle.
Okay. Well, that's that.
But that's pre-distillation,
right? And I consider that to be something entirely different than soil giving the land, the soil itself giving any kind of character to the.
Well, it's a
local. And that was
a
lot of discussion here in Texas, talking about Texas whiskeys and how we should define Texas whiskey. If Texas whiskey should be made with Texas corn, because somehow Texas corn is special. I'm like, you guys are full of shit. Texas corn tastes like corn.
Iron Root's definitely done a pretty good job with showcasing different grains that they're sourcing and giving different flavor impact. I believe Balcones has done some. I'm not a super expert on their stuff.
Balcones has done baby blue and stuff like using blue corn and stuff like that. Yeah.
Baby blue's terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
unless you like candy corn. Like
I don't disagree, but
if you're somebody who just wants to take a big old handful of candy corn and eat that, Baby Blue is for you, man.
the best thing I've had from Balcones is their Brimstone, that smoked corn whiskey that they do, and oh my god, just thinking about it, it
That
tastes
is
like a campfire. It's so good.
What did I had?
But it's also a victim of its own success for me because I don't want to have a second bottle because I don't want to be disappointed with the next bottle.
Yeah, Mirador from them, which is a wine finish thing they do, is incredible.
Yeah.
Lineage, which is kind of like it's almost like a Texas version of a single malt, like simple, basic entry level Scotch. Really was nice.
Yeah,
and that's super cheap.
Balcones has done some really good single malt whiskey. The former owner was a big Scotch fan, so
they're doing good stuff there. Not a big fan of Iron Roots bourbon because I don't like Bloody Butcher corn, and they use it in all their stuff, and it comes off to me less sweet and more earthy. And bourbon's kind of supposed to be sweet. That's what makes bourbon. Yeah,
that's kind of the goal that I go with for mine. It's not so much sweet, just the smooth, the more smooth, less of the bite, less of the rye bite, because I'm not a particularly big fan of rye whiskeys unless they're heavily aged rye whiskey. But I like the bourbons that have a little bit less of that hook, that bite.
So have you thought about using a wheat instead of a rye?
I've thought about it, but the whiskeys that I use that I've had that substitute wheat in for rye, I just haven't really been that impressed. So
yeah, I mean,
I just need to play around with it and see if I can find something that I like.
I mean, they're the most sought after bourbons on the planet right now.
Yeah,
Pappy, that's Weeder.
Yeah, the next big
Weller, Weeder.
But I mean, I need to find one that I like and see if I can replicate it. That's
Maker's Mark, another Weeder that everybody's likes. I think that stuff's nasty myself.
I'm not a big. I mean, I like Maker's Mark in the wintertime when I can mix it with my eggnog.
I do like the Weller profile in general, but I do not at all understand the Maker's profile. Like, it's not to me good. And Larceny, I think, is just.
I used to drink Maker's Mark and Woodford Reserve and kind of go back and forth between the two of them, but I ruined that for myself when I ran out of Woodford in the middle of the evening, and I switched to what was left of my Maker's bottle, and I had Woodford, and then immediately after I had Maker's, and I was like, oh shit. The contrast was jarring.
I do like the Woodford profile. It's another one where I just wish they would freaking do a higher proof and not barrel proof. Their barrel proof doesn't work very well. And they're standard,
like 94, aren't they?
They're 90. They're 90.4.
Oh, okay.
If they would just,
I'm thinking of is like 94, 96.
They would just do freaking 100 proof. You don't have to be barrel proof. 100 proof. That's enough where most people get a nice little oomph. You add a drop of water if you need it. You put it on ice. Well, it'll be fine. Because barrel proof sometimes, I mean, like, especially on younger bourbons, can be a little.
Yeah, that's what I'm not a big fan of them. They're just too much alcohol, and I like the flavor of the whiskey, and it's just too much.
Properly aged bourbons at barrel proof are beautiful, and that's how they should be served as far as I'm concerned. But if you've got certain, like Brown-Forman, they told us for years, you do not want Old Forester barrel proof. Well, fans finally got it, and half the fans don't want it. The other half of fans are so excited about it, they're paying $200 a bottle, and they've jacked the prices up, and it's going secondary. So yeah, Old Forester can't basically. You'll never see an Old Forester single barrel on the shelves, more than a few days now. So the market's broken. People like it.
Well, Dustin, it is now 1:00, and I need to wrap because I've got to either drive home, get dinner, and go to bed, or go get dinner, come back here, and go to sleep. So
fair enough, man. Well, hey, that's what DoorDash is for. I
don't want to spend $20 for a hamburger. I can just go get my own damn hamburger.
Yeah, fair enough. The nice thing is with DoorDash, you can have a few drinks while you're waiting.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. All right. Well, appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you tomorrow again, I'm sure.
Yep. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Have a great night, man.
I'll be goofing off at work again. See you, Sunflower.
Cheers, Dustin. Sunflower, I'm going to boot you off in a second too because it's time to
Good
wrap this.
night.
Thank you for joining me. Are you still awake? Did you make it through the whole thing?
Yeah, kinda.
All right. Well, I will see you tomorrow, my dear.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe so. Maybe not. If not, no worries. If so, hurrah.
Yeah, but I'll be here Thursday for Jackbox.
Stupendous. Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central. Woo!
Oh, somebody just came by.
Oh, Mr. Jiggs just came in the house. Cheers, Jiggs. We're closing up shop. Thanks for popping in. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Sunflower.
Good night. I'm going to bed.
All right, now I get to decide whether or not I'm going to pull my cot out and sleep right there or right here, or maybe underneath there where it's nice and cozy, maybe, or hop in the car and head home. Either way, I'll be back probably around between 8 and 10 in the morning, and we will crank through for 72-hour live stream extravaganza. We are currently sitting on, let's see here, we got an extra hour, so we're behind by 4. So we're on pace for a 68-hour live stream. So, but I'm probably not going to be on at 3, so we're going to lose a little bit more time tomorrow. Either way, be awesome to each other, and I will see you tomorrow.